welcome to, well, technically day one of our special Telford weekend event celebrating the fact we're not actually at Telford. So, update for today, we're not now currently freezing, because when you first get in the hall, it's normally freezing. Then you put the blowers on, which blows everybody's stand away. It's great. So anyway, we trust you all had a good evening last night. It was a lot of fun. Hopefully we're going to carry that through with you today. Big plan for today is to literally, we're going to be doing some demoing. So I'm going to be demoing washes, as I do at Telford, with a few things. And then we've got our very own Andy is going to be up doing some silver paints. So he's going to be demoing different uses of silver paints and the different ways they are.
As I do it at Telford.
As he does at Telford. And things like that. And then we've got, what have we got? A special reveal, Telford-esque reveal at 11 o'clock of the kit. So we've got our hands on something that some of you haven't seen before. So look at Matt, he's looking very smug.
No, just a little bit.
So we've got a little surprisey type thing down there I think a lot of you might be surprised about and excited about, so that would be very nice as well. So that's the plan for that. This afternoon at 2 o'clock we're going to have a break then between 12 and 2. We're going to be doing bits on chipping. So our very own Andy will be back chipping things. I'm going to do a thing about buffable paints, showing you about using buffable paints and how the effects you can get with them. And then Matt's going to be on with you around about 4 o'clock as well, and he's going to be doing furnishing. Things like that. And then tonight, we'll be off at 5 o'clock. We'll be back with you at 7:30, and it's quiz night. So we'll be with you for quiz night and just generally having a bit of a giggle and a laugh and stuff like that. We can answer your questions as we make our way through as always. So that's our sort of format for today. So as I said, we've got 3 hours now, 3 hours to sort of this afternoon with it, and then obviously this evening we'll be with you as well, and then we'll be back with you tomorrow doing a few other bits and pieces the way through. I will just simply say, apologies, in true Flory Models fashion, my roofer is coming. We've got a leaky roof and the roof is turning up. And I did say there's no way I'm postponing it because I've been waiting 6 months to get the roof done. It's actually been leaking about a year. So it took 6 months to find someone to do it, and now it's 6 months to get in. So I wasn't going to put him off the bit where he said, oh, I'll do it on Saturday. And it was like all the Saturdays to do it. So if there is some dogs barking, the odd little bit of banging and a roofer falling off, I do apologise. We'll try and keep the ambulances to a minimum. With the siren noises and things like that. So apologies, but it's just one of those things. I didn't put him off. I might not ever see him again. Anyway, are we all good this morning, boys? How are we all doing?
What? Yeah, fine, thank you.
Suitably refreshed, are we, after last night? Nathan's got a hangover because he thought he was on alcohol-free, but it turns out it was like 9% or something. It's an easy mistake to make, officer.
I think it was the nicest tasting at low alcohol beer I've ever had, because they normally taste a bit funny. This one tasted just bang on, and then I realised it was 8.3%.
There you go. So yes, never mind. Are you all good, John? How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine, thank you.
Good.
Raring to go.
Good. Andy, you all set with all your demo-y bits? Cleaned out your airbrush, I take it?
I'm just doing them now, actually.
Oh, you're a bit quiet, mate.
Am I? Hang on.
You've gone quiet. To be honest, we did a sound check just before we came on, and he was loud. Now he's gone quiet. I think it's because he's sat further back. Anyway, and Matt, are we all okay? How's the sales going? All good?
Yes, very well, thank you. I want to thank everybody so far for all their purchases.
Absolutely.
Loads, to be honest. Really good, thank you. And yeah, and we've got, so, as you can see, I've got a bit of a display behind me today.
I will.
As you can see, that coming literally yesterday afternoon. This is for the pre-order, so don't get excited because it's not on the site yet. Is the 110s. So Andy next week, in between everything else I've got him doing, is going to invoice you for, you know, whoever pre-ordered the 110s. So yeah, they came in yesterday, which was nice.
Good. Definitely.
And then these are on the super specials discount.
Yeah, super special. I'll take them around there now. Okay, So this is our format. If you haven't seen it, we've got the little leaflet, just give you an idea for the times and the guides and the various things down on there. Obviously, from a sales point of view, we've got a sale on the Flory Models site, which is, well, it's horrendous amounts off. So full pack of sanders, very popular yesterday. They're flying out at the moment. As I say, when all this is sold out, it is literally sold out. I'm waiting for a restock to come in. It was supposed to be due in last week, and now it's coming in next week. So, but this is literally all we've got for the sale. So, like, it's 10 quid off a full set of sanders, and there's like, you know, 50p off the individual packs. quids off of washes, quids off of pigments. Full set of washes normally sort of £42-ish. 32, they're £10 off as well. Same with the pigments, things like that. All the pigments are £1 off, so you can see all of those down in there. And then the PM store over on that side of thing, links are down below and everywhere as you normally do it. As you can see, it's up to 20% off of kits. And again, so we've got 10% off of pretty much all the kits on the site, and there's a further 12% discount on Fujami, Hobby Boss, Meng, Mini Art, Ryfield Models, and Trumpeter. So it's just 12%, not a further, I should say. So it's not like 22, it's only 12% off those. And then we got 15% discount on new models and stuff like that. It does get added when you get to the basket, and it will work it out. So if you have bought multiple things, so perhaps you bought Hobby Boss, a normal kit from somebody else, and a new, it'll work it all out when you get to the checkout.
Hey,
and that'll be the roofer. Let me just mute that. So cue the dogs to go mental in 3, 2. So yes. So anyway, that's exactly what's going on at the moment everywhere. So what I'm going to do now is do my Telford demo for you of normally what we do. So normally we have exactly this, what you're seeing up here. If you haven't seen it before, the clay wash is probably the easiest way you can do it. It's amazing how quickly you fall back into doing this. Of the clay wash. It's clay. It's not paint. There's no nasties. It won't mark absolutely anything. Pretty much everything I do, I use the wash with it. It is literally as simple as you just brush it on and then you wipe it off. So what we've got down in here, if I just grab a couple of demo-y type bits and I can show. Right, hold on. Let's have a better camera. Yeah, look at overhead on. So as you can see down below here, the wash comes as we do it in a box set. Okay, so in the box set, which is £10 off, I hasten to add, you basically get 8 colours. So in the colours, you get basically a black, which is this one here. You get a dark dirt, which is like an old engine oil colour. We've got a rust, obviously. We've got the grime, which a lot of people, it was more of a requested colour. People wanted a light earthy type of weathering colour. So that's what that one is. This one down here with the splodge of black in it is actually a white wash. And we've got a brown as well. And in the middle, we've got actually a sand colour. All the colours can be mixed together to make any particular shade or hue you want. And this is the big thing. I don't do like, 30 colours in the range. We've only done the 8 because out of about this 8 colours, you can make anything. Okay, so that's exactly what we went with. Okay, so putting it onto your model, it literally just depends on what surface you're going onto. So on something like this, which is pretty much like a glossy type surface, as you can see, okay, it acts more like a panel line wash. So, for instance, if we just get some of the dark dirt so you can see that colour. As you can see, it's sort of an old engine oil colour. You just brush it on like this, okay, and literally you let it dry. When it dries, it will turn to these colours, as you can see down in here. And I've got a little bit off. It takes around about 20 minutes to dry, and actually under the studio lights it's drying already, okay, because it's quite warm in here today. And that's it. So once it's dried, you've got various options, okay? You can, for instance, if you wanted like a winter camo type wash, you can leave it on. And obviously, if I put on another coat of white onto this, it will just build up naturally and it will become solid white. Then you can start to sand it away or wipe it away to leave different type of effects to it. So literally on something like this, which is sort of a satin finish, you can give it a bit of a rub, and as you can see, not a great deal comes off, okay? And you can wear and put it down to get a nicer type grimy effect as it's coming through, okay? But being clay, as you might imagine, as soon as you wet the cloth, so to be honest, as a lot of you know, I lick it, okay? As soon as you wet it and rub it, it basically rehydrates the wash and it wipes it away, but it can't get to the recess panels and obviously raise details if it's got bolts and things all around it. And then that way you are literally left with a very, very nice wash on here, okay? So that is it. Now the thing is, that's over like a satin type finish, so you're going to get off probably around about 90% of it all on there, and that's exactly what we did on this. So this has got a grey wash onto it, but it's exactly the same process over this, but it's looking a little bit more dusty, and as you can see, it's a little bit more grimy in some areas and things like that. That's because it went over a flat finish, and when it goes over a flat finish, it gets caught in the texture. And that's exactly what's happened on there. So that's it, literally. Now, if you wanted to, you could come along with other colours. So you could literally then just pop in, if you wanted to, with like some sandy colours or something else on here like this. And you can go around and just do the middles of the panels. Or if you wanted to, you can go right the way over the top like that and overcoat it. The colours will mix and it will change the colour slightly. So you don't have to wash it off every time and go again, so forth and so on as you're making your way through with it. You can also airbrush this stuff on, which is quite fun to do. So you can put it on there. Then obviously when you're into other things, we've got down in here a little bit of onto a nice one. So this is literally dark dirt. Again, you could leave it like this. If you're doing armor, you could literally leave it as is. And that's what I do a lot of the times with these things, okay? And again, you can just wet a cloth and you can literally just come along, rehydrate the clay, and then literally just turn it into a very clean panel line wash, because this is over a gloss, okay? And you end up with that. So it's purely just panel lines, and that's the thing with it, right? So if you wanted nice and clean, no problem at all. If you wanted to do oil weathering, so a lot of the times I'll use this purely as a panel line wash, and then I'll use oils and things like that to come along with to do further weathering, okay? So this gives me the base down there for just the panel lines. Everything else I might do with oils and stuff like that. When you get into the nitty gritty of it though, and you start playing with it over more sort of, you know, heavier finishes and stuff, you can then start to wear it round. And then we got down in here a couple of different colors, and you can use it as a weathering effect. So you can use it as it is on here. You come in, okay, so it gives a lot of sort of stainy type grimed effect and stuff down in. Again, especially if you go over flat coats. And to be honest with you, I've got a picture here of our in action. So this is when I did the B52, and this was over a complete flat finish. And as you can see, it leaves a lot of grime down behind as you're going along with it. So it gets caught in this texture. So what you've got down in here is all of this griminess getting caught in here. It's literally just in. So you're using quite a dry cloth and just keep wearing at it. You can also use sanders if you want to wear it back. And say section by section, just going in. So I'm treating literally each section, like this section was done as one, that was done, and as you can see on this one we took away a little bit more wash than we did on the ones next to it to give contrast. Okay, these little ones down in here, again in there with a cotton bud and just moving it around and, you know, basically just wiping it around until you get to this. But this way it gives us a nice mottled, marbly effect down onto your model like that. And again, it's just one of your tips and tricks for going through and doing it. So when you can see it sort of half and half like this, you've got that nice sort of griminess to it. So not only is it a panel line wash, you're using it physically for weathering. It works for raised surfaces as well. Not the best picture I know, but you can see down in here, this is the, whose is this one? AMK? No, the other one. ICM, Foxback, MiG-25. So in here, as you can see, we've got these panels on the back here. These are actually raised details. So I'm actually using a sander to wear through the wash to give us a nice warm down. So you're also cutting into the paintwork a little bit as well to give nice clean areas. But when you're using a sander, as you can see on these areas up here, because this is raised detail, the wash gets caught in the sides because it can't be rubbed out. So you keep a flat sander and just rub right the way over it. So all the raised detail looks like it's got a recessed panel line wash, but it's not, it's actually raised. So when you're going through it, as you can see under here, it's all nice motley. This is all recessed underneath, but on the top side, probably better go back up, you can see it's just got these areas in. But that one was done literally with a sander. We've got a better photo of it. There we go. You can see it just coming in. And then afterwards, we came in with oils to come in and blend around and go in there and everything else. But it's a good way of showing how that detail will stay up there as it makes its way through. And that's literally it. It's as simple as that. You can use it on everything. So down in here, this is just like a plastic toy. You know, one of these makes a sound. There it is. See? Brilliant. And then, you know, you can literally just come along with your cloth. This is straight onto neat plastic. And if you buff it in, you can go along. And again, if you used to give this a black coat and go through the motions of it, you go along. But again, the wash gets caught in the recesses. We just whip around here very, obviously normally you'd go around a little bit nicer. Okay, as you can see, choosing cloth, we can buff up and it's caught in all the recesses to make all the details pop. easily. Okay, but if you wanted to, you could literally put a flat coat right over this and then give it a really worn down weathered look. So if you ever look at any of my other ones, you'll see all about that. And again, it's one of those things, when you get the hang of it and you move around, we can start to do weathering and you can leave it behind. So say a lot of this patchiness down in here, some of this is obviously oils on here as well, but the base coat is obviously the wash right the way through with it on things like that. Another good one, this one has got nothing but the wash on it. So this is quite an old one. Andy, do you recognise this? So this one down in here, all this is nothing but wash. It's got the grime wash on it and a little bit of dark dirt, things like that, just on this, and it's got nothing else on it just to wear it down. But again, the bolts, the sides, all the bits and pieces you can do. This particular type of chipping type stuff down here, this is the wash. But instead of using like warm water to get rid of it, it's cold water, ice cold water, and a brush. And you just basically stab at the wash, and because it's cold, it chips away. Instead of it just warming up and washing off as clay would, it actually is quite brittle, so you can actually make sort of chippy effects with it and stuff like that as you make your way through. And literally that was it. Very straightforward job on that one going through, just to instantly give you a weathered look. And it's one of those things where the more you play with it, the more you sort of, you know, get used to it, you know how it works, you know how much comes away. And like I always say, to start with, if you literally just use it as a panel line wash, gloss coat down, let it dry for 24 hours, and then come back, you'll end up with, you know, the things we were doing down on here and on panels and stuff, and you're good to go. When you get used to it, you can then go on. And to be honest, I use it pretty much over flat coats all the time. So we've got this guy down on here, those other ones you've seen, things like that, and you can go along and create some really interesting effects. You can use it obviously on armor, aircraft, ships, use it all the time on ships for doing streaking and various things like that. You can also use it on diorama bases. So obviously, you know, we've done it on walls and buildings, using it for grout. So obviously you do your brickwork in sort of, you know, your red color, and then you can make up a mortar color from this, even like the grime works well, or a gray wash, something else like that. Put it over it, and then that'll give you a really, really nice sort of mortar look to it. And on cobbles, earthy colours, muddy colours, any type of weathering you can think. And that's literally it. It is as simple as that. It's one of those ones where it's very, very simple. It's very, very forgiving. And again, if you don't like it, as long as you've gone over a gloss coat, you can get it all back off. Because warm water and a soft brush, it just washes off. Okay, obviously, if you're using it on something that's more textured surface, so think of it literally like a sanding stick, you know, a heavy grip one, it gets caught in there, you can't get it out. But that's going to your advantage because you can use it then for heavy weathered items and stuff. And this motley lot will use it, don't you guys?
Yep.
Oh, yes.
Yes, great stuff.
That's it. So again, at the moment on the store, because it's shameless plug, where's the plug thing? There we go. We've got the wash set is £10 off. So normally it's like $41.32 for the box set, but we're actually doing a special on that one where it's only £33 for the box set.
Christopher asked, what kind of wash would you use on ships?
Again, to be honest, I quite like using the grey because the grey gives a nice contrast to it. So it's got that thing about where you're using it, it gives like the streaking colour, especially if you've got like darker greys with it. It looks like sort of weathered ones in there. But you can obviously mix in different colours into the grey. So I'd use the grey as the base, and then add perhaps a little bit of dark dirt to it or a tiny bit of black just to darken it to give different shades and hues as you go right the way through. But for naval and the scale point of view from it, I think grey is a nice colour to work with because I've done that quite a lot.
David asked, should you apply a clear coat before applying oils?
You don't have to. So, and to be honest with you, I don't. I never, because it actually works with it. Because when you've got any oils on there, it grips to the clay. Matt was playing with that, weren't you, Matt?
I find oils work a hell of a lot better on a flat coat because they've got something to grip to. If you've got a gloss coat, they just tend to just wipe back off again. So yeah, oils and your wash mix perfectly well, to be honest. But this clear coat thing, apart from Declan, I'm now personally don't think you need to put clear coats on anything.
No.
If your prep's pretty good anyway, and your paint works pretty smooth.
Yes.
You really don't need to keep clear coating everything. It's just putting another layer and another layer on where you don't really need it. So yes.
And to be honest with you, like the other big question everyone asks about overcoating it, do you need to seal it? I don't seal anything. None of this. The wash itself is one of those things where, you know, like on here, for instance, this hasn't been sealed whatsoever. So it's just one of those ones where if you fancy changing it a little bit later on down the line, you could literally just come along with a warm cloth and wipe that away, or just turn it to a pure panel line wash, even with your oils in there, because the clay will rehydrate under the actual clay, under the oils, and move. So, it's one of those ones where it's a nice sort of stable product, unless you've literally got wet hands and you're touching it. But, even in here where you've got recess, this is never going to come out because it's in there. It's only really when you're doing the stuff and it's on the surface, But that's the nice thing to this, because you can just go along, and like I do, is blend with your finger. So, literally, if I just show you on half, if you come along and, camera settings, there we go. So on here, literally, you have it on your finger, so you can come along to different areas and you can blend and you can maneuver around. So it's literally, I do it with oils as well. I like to get quite into it, but you can have it on your finger and you can maneuver it around and all those different areas. And you can take a little bit of like the lighter one and then take it over to this side, and you can fade and wear panels and various things with it as well. So it's literally one of those things where the more you use it, as I say, the more it works. Quick tip for you as well. You can actually put it on with an airbrush, a very thin coat. So if you take some of this and you thin it, like 50-50 with water, okay, and then airbrush it onto your model, it'd be quite thin and give naturally, especially for armor and ships. So when it drains and all runs down the side, when it dries just like it's naturally doing it, because the clay then sort of solidifies as it's coming down, and it gives it that sort of, run, drawn, dragged look to it as it's naturally just running down. So that's another very nice one to use.
Jean-Philippe says when he uses the washes, hang on, let me scroll back to it. When he uses the washes, it always gets it very bubbly.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't do that when you do it.
Yeah, if you're mixing it up heavily, it will bubble because it's naturally got degreasing agents, which, one, it helps break the surface tension, otherwise it just beads up and sits on the top. So it's got a natural degreaser in there. What that does is basically make it smooth and flow and goes into the panel lines. Otherwise it would bead up and it wouldn't get into tiny little details. So it needs it to go, but that doesn't affect anything. You can just literally do it. Obviously, if you're shaking it up as well, it gets very frothy. So if you mix it by hand, it won't. Okay, and again, to be honest, I use these dropper bottles now. You can just come along, put it down like that, and you're good to go. And even if it bubbles, you can push the bubbles out of the way and then just brush it on. But if you airbrush it, it really doesn't make any difference. So, yes.
Peter asks, what colour oil would you use to fade panels on the Desert Babe Tornado?
Personally, me, I'll go buff. Dave?
Good question. Yeah, it's got to be buff because I think it lost its pinky hue, didn't it?
Yeah.
So buff would knock back the pink a little
bit. They sort
bit.
of went buff, didn't they, from the pink?
I'm thinking I did a pink Jaguar here, and I used just dark dirt wash on it, to be honest. But I didn't do any fading. I think it might work quite. Yeah, I think buff. Maybe even just white, but very sparingly.
Yeah.
There's anything that I think it just lost its like pinkiness. But I think browns work quite well on that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Pushing it towards a brown shade. I to be honest, I was building this in a hurry for Telford. So I just did a dark dirt wash all over it. That was a wasted rush, wasn't it?
I'll tell you another good colour for fading that is flesh.
Yes.
Ooh.
If you don't want to desaturate it and make it look all chalky, flesh is like I've always said it, from just fading anything is just brilliant because it's got that warm, obviously red tone to it, but it's not very strong and it just keeps your tones nice. So
what about a bit of oil dot weathering could work quite nicely on that, couldn't it?
Yeah.
So another little trick down in here is if you mix talc with the wash, you'll make a real gritty, dirty, muddy type effect with it. Works really, really well. So, and again, you can mix PVA glue into it and make it into a paste. So you're using the wash as almost a pigment. And then that way you can do it. But again, we've got the pigments if you wanted to do it that particular trick, and then literally add PVA glue, to the pigments. And then that way it makes quite a nice, thick, gritty, muddy, type thing with it as well. So yes, lots of things. And Neil just remembered me that one on the chat. My son called these washes instant talent. That's a good one. Can I use that on the box? Instead of saying taking your weathering to the next level, we just call it instant talent. Yeah, to be honest with you, the whole point whilst I did these, for the people who don't know the story, when I used to do, professionally, model maker and all the rest of it, you're being paid per model, not by the hour. And every now and again, although oils are fantastic for doing washes, every now and again they'll come back and bite you. I.e., it grips and you can't get rid of it, or you'll be in a situation where it gets under a decal, it ruins a decal, or something just used to go wrong. So the whole point was I spent a long time just trying to think of a way of putting a wash on that's instant on, instant off. It's just quick, straightforward and easy, that took the worry out of it. And I know a lot of people, especially when you're new to the hobby, they look at weathering and you see all these different techniques about using, obviously, oils and, enamel washes and stuff like that. But there's always that sort of, I call it the sort of 2% rule, where it's going to go wrong 2% of the time, because that's just part of the hobby. So I just wanted to get that out of the way. And that's why I always say, if you're new to the hobby, so one of the easiest ways to weather your models is to give it an aniline wash, just going over a gloss coat, and then work your way through satin and then into the flat realm. And when you're in the flat realm, you can do anything with this stuff. And although, it's true, I don't use this all the time. I'm not like some people out there who just use and push their product on everything they do. I like to show it different ways. Because a lot of people say to me, why did you use oils on that and didn't use your wash? And it's like, well, I didn't want to be look like I just always push in my product, But if it's for me, I'll always use mine. I wouldn't use anything else because it's just a lot easier. It's quicker and easier. Yes. There you go. So Mark was saying he was just watching one of the old classic builds yesterday, and it was pre-Flory Sanders. That's it. That's the classics are in that realm where some of them are, some of them aren't in there. So it makes it quite interesting to go through that one. Some of the old stuff as well. Don't forget there's some in there. They're actually pre-wash. Because wash came around in around about 2005, 2007. So. How long have we done the Sanders now? Sanders have been around now for the last sort of 10 years, I think. Just thinking, yeah, it's about 10 years we've been doing the Sanders.
10 years.
So, quick question from Tony. He's placed an order with you, Phil. Can he add to it?
Yeah, to be honest with you, I had 60 orders last night. I printed them all off. What we can do if you wanted to is cancel the order and then redo it, which will probably be quicker than doing it. If you shoot me a message, use the contact me page on the Flory Model site, and then just put your order number of what it is in there, and then I will refund the postage on it with your second order. It's probably the easiest way. Just order it again, but shoot me a message, because we've got so many orders coming in over the weekend. It's going to be one of those things. It will get lost. So put a message, contact me on the actual Flory Model site, okay? And then that way, literally come up in here, and then down the bottom here, we've got the contact me. Contact, use that one, come in there, okay, use that, send me it, and just put your order numbers on there, and I'll refund the postage on one of your orders. That would be the easiest way. Cool. That's it. So there we go. That's about it. That's it from me. Thank you very much. I'm out of here. My roofers have turned up. The dogs didn't go mental. I don't know what my other half's done. I think she's gagged the dogs. So anyway, there we go. I'll just clear some of this out of the way before I stick my arm in it, which is usual thing.
Simon asks, have you ever thought of making a Flory primer?
Again, this is one of those ones. There's so many out there that roughly all do the same thing. I think it's one of these things. When I worked on, obviously, the washes, and certainly the Sanders as well, they're not something where I buy off the shelf. So it's not like I'm using somebody else's products. They're my own products of my own design and things like that. And it takes quite a lot of time. So like developing a sander, when we did one a couple of years ago, that was like 9 months before we got it right. And it's a lot of time and work into it. And I don't really have the time these days like we used to do it, to develop a product, to work it out and work with chemists and all of this to make sure it does what you want it to do, and not just one that's off the shelf. But primers out there, like, I'm not being funny, we've all got our favourites with the team, don't we? We've got Nathan uses XF19, which is still one of my favourite ways of doing it. Tamiya just acrylic paint. I like the Mr. Primer Surfacer 1000. I think that's a great product. It just works really well with rapid drying thinners. It just instant brilliance. And I know, obviously, you get other people like the polyurethane types and all the different ones in there. So it's a case of there's lots of good primers out there. I don't think there's need for another one. Put it like that.
You're never going to get that perfect primer, are you? Let's be honest.
There will always be a downside, isn't it? There's always going to be something that's going to...
Yeah, I mean, there's always going to be like people like this sort of primer and that sort of primer. There's not, like you say, that magic formula for the perfect primer. It's just what people, again, get used to or what they like, isn't it? So,
yes, it's very much an individual thing, isn't it? Primers.
Yeah, I think that's the whole thing with this hobby, isn't it?
Yeah. So the downside to my method is it's not the toughest primer, and if you handle it, you can scratch it off if you're not careful. Because I use just Tamiya paint, although using lacquer thinners helps that bind a bit stronger. But I've never had problems with peeling or anything like that if I use that.
I think, with the thing is with primers, when you find one that works for you, stick with it, because we went through a couple of years ago, I don't know, it must have been 10 primers released in 1 year at one point, and most of them were just the same, just rebottled. They might have had slight differences to them, but they were basically the polyurethane type seemed to come along out of everywhere, and all the manufacturers were doing and putting all their own spin on them and all the rest of it, but they all were flawed being polyurethane because they're rubbery and they peel and they don't sand, and it was like they're great as long as you don't need to work on them. Like I said, don't get me wrong, I love them because if you're just putting a coat down, it will get rid of all your micro imperfections and it smooths things out and it does a really good job. But if you need to go back, it's a nightmare, because you're literally going to be into that thing of like peeling it and it rolls up and the sanders fill up and
To be honest, I've actually, do you know the Vallejo ones? I've got them and I use them actually for priming my figures, and I find them all right because, like you say, you ain't really got to sand them.
Yeah.
It's got really quite good coverage, and I don't mind using them on armour for the same reason. But it's like on aircraft is where I think it's their Achilles heel.
Yeah.
Because then you've got to wait for a good 2 weeks before it'll even be usable. Do you know what I mean? To even go near it with a sander. But when it does dry, it is actually hard as nails. It's good stuff, but
yeah, absolutely.
It depends how quick a modeler you are. If you like to rattle through them, it's no good for you. You're better off with a surfacer, a lacquer-based one where you can whack it on. It'll be dry in a couple of minutes. You can sand it. If you've got time on your hands and you've got fingers, then you can use the polyurethane ones. But it all depends on your circumstances. But yeah, for figures and stuff, I actually find it's quite all right, to be honest. But
yeah, I must admit, I don't have that's the thing. I remember years ago now, I think it was One Shot I used or something else. We demoed it and Buster got a coat and he looked brilliant considering the hammering that poor git gets. He really gets some hard abuse, and I gave him a really thick coat and all the surface detail disappeared. And I remember coming back about an hour later and it was all coming back and it had smoothed it out and it looked beautiful. But again, it was that thing, I tried to sand it and it just started to roll up. But if you hadn't touched it, it would have been fine. And that's why it's probably good, as you say, like for figure painting, once you've done your initial cleanup, perhaps, a little bit of deburring and that, and then obviously you put a coat of that on, it'll smooth things out and make everything look really nice.
yeah.
So, okay, answering the question there, my choices are, as I say, if it's just a small little job for like test fitting, and perhaps I've done some seam checking, so you put your model seams together and you want to make sure that there is no ghost seam in there or any stepping or anything else like that, I will probably just use, Tamiya. So maybe even lacquers or acrylics, just literally 50-50 mix them airbrush, spray it down the seam, let it dry, have a look, and maybe just give it a couple of swipes with a very fine sander just to see what's going on, okay, from that. AK Interactive stuff, I'm a big fan of it because you just shake it and spray it. So it's their micro whatever it is, which is that one, which I do use still. So this is just the primer micro filler. It's good stuff because you literally just shake it and away you go. It's straightforward out of the bottle stuff. If you want something where it's a little bit more, perhaps you have got some gaps you want to fill and, there's some little imperfections you're going to have, then again, this is their new stuff. It's supposed to be good for etching into plastic, resin and metal as well. And that's the Mr. Primer Surfacer 1000. And again, I mix that 50-50 to start with, anyway, with a little bit of rapid drying thinners. It works really, really well with both of those together. I think it's a great combination because the great thing is, and if you want to watch back, you can see it. When I was working on the VC10, that's a Mac 2 kit. Let's face it, the surface detail is, how would I describe it? Organic. It's like a ploughed field. It's awful. So I gave it 2 quite heavy coats of that right the way over the model, and we gave it a light rub down in between each one. But I could literally hold one wing, spray the other, and then hold it. Where I couldn't do that traditionally with, if you'd put through it normal lacquer thinners, or if you'd use something like self-leveling thinners, it may be in a little bit sticky, but it was instant. So I could see an area, re-prime it and spray it, and quite a heavy one to get rid of some imperfections. And literally a few minutes later, I was sanding it again. And you could then build it up. So it was a very quick process of fixing the problems. So you might remember with that build, I cut the entire front end of it off to re-angle the entire front of the fuselage. And that was a classic example because you could see sort of ghosting and various things in there. So it was quick coat, sand it, quick coat, sand it, and just 3 or 4 later, and we're good to go and could move on. Yeah, if it had been traditional primers like the polyurethane one, you'd have to wait forever for it to go off.
John asks about putting something on the site to show what thinners that you sell work with different paints.
Their own manufacturer.
I know you did a show, didn't you, where you tried?
Yeah, and again, the trouble with that is when you do it, not every paint in a paint range works with that thinner. Does it, Andy? Is he working?
He's working.
It doesn't. I'm working.
Sorry. But Andy did a little bit of a test with us with some of them. When the guys came down here, we were bored, like you do. So we got everything out. We had all the paints out and all the thinners, and we were literally having a test with it. And it seems to be there's something with self-leveling thinners works with everything. But if you just use normal lacquer thinners or somebody else's, it wouldn't work as well. And there's something in it, obviously, makes it react.
But even self-leveling thinners, different colours within the range of a paint range work differently with self-leveling thinners. You know, it's like tried, say, like a black would work, but then a grey wouldn't work. It's all like it was a bit hit and miss really, because we were also trying acrylic paints like Vallejo Vallejo white tops.
Vallejo model colour works fantastic with thinners on a 50-50 mix, and I don't know why. I don't know what's in one or the other that makes it work, but it brilliant.
Model Air doesn't. You'd think that Model Air was just thinned.
I think it's because of the thinner, obviously, the medium of the thinner in the Model A obviously clashes, because I think obviously because the model colour's so thick, there's nothing in it, just pigment and whatever binders in for the acrylic. So obviously the lacquer thinner with whatever's in the leveling thinner manages to break it down and spray brilliant. So I don't know.
What we say, we did try lots and lots of different manufacturers, but I was going to do a definitive guide of what you could use with what, but then we found different colours were working differently within the range, so it just became a bit difficult.
Yes.
Again, it's one of those ones where we always say, if you're new to this, it's always good to use the own manufacturer's colours with the lacquers or whatever range it is, they're thinner, because you're going to be guaranteed the results. But you say lacquers work with lacquers, acrylics work with acrylics. And again, once you get your head round that, obviously, like Tamiya acrylics are alcohol based, so you can use lacquers with them. The Guns Aquatis series is alcohol based, so you can use lacquers with it. But Vallejo Model Air, for instance, and Vallejo White Top, you can't, because otherwise they turn to bubble gum. Like we always say, your best bet is just grab yourself a little dish or something and do a test. So get yourself a drop of paint, grab yourself a drop of thinners, put it into it and just mix it. If it instantly binds together and sticks to the brush, it ain't going to work. Okay, but also look at it long term. So mix up that paint, mix it into it. If it looks fine to start with, let it settle. See if it goes gritty. If it stays smooth and flows, you'll be absolutely fine. But if it goes gritty and you've got that sort of, bittiness to it and all the rest of it, you're not going to get a nice paint finish, because it's not just going to level out and sort itself out. It's going to bind. And you're going to have a problem. But it's always worth just doing a quick test. A lot of people ask us, they say, what will it work? And a lot of time is you're probably better off just testing it yourself. Get a little dish, 1 drop of thinners, bit of paint on a brush, just mix it. If it sticks all to your brush, you know something going on.
Yeah. Good
what
call.
would you use on a Wingnut Wings kit? Depends on the colour. That's the thing. I've done quite a few wingnut wings kits now, and I use oils because of the linen effect, to get that see-through linen effect. So, you know, it's one of those ones, depending on the colour you're going with and that, but I find oils, because I can work the oils to give translucent effects with it, rather than obviously washes and things. And also the thing with washes, they're great for giving an overall weathered look underneath perhaps, but on a, you know, and in panel lines, if it's got them seam lines and that, you can obviously use the washes as well. But sometimes oils, that's where they come into their own, because you can work them into the fabric to give a better fabric effect. Yes.
Yeah.
Cool. You can't screw up. If it goes horribly wrong, you just wash it off. That's it. Absolutely. That's always been the martyr with it. I screw it up so you guys don't have to. Remember, guys, just a quick tip for people who are saying about, obviously, they're not watching live, they're on the recording bit. You can always tell on YouTube, if it's the live bit, it should have a red dot on there and it's bright. If it's sort of shaded out, it means you're watching a replay of it. Because obviously this is replaying and you can come in and go back as you want on the videos. If you click on the live bit, you'll be live. That's how it works.
Have we put a section up on the site to put in photos of old Telfords?
No, I was just saying if people wanted to send them to me, but if they wanted to, just use the you know, or someone just chuck in a section on the today one that we're using for members if you want to do it that way. But like I said yesterday, if people want to send me photos of old Telfords and things like that, if they just send it to sales@glorymodels.co.uk, just to that email, and then what I'll do is I'll bundle them all together and we can go through that one. Ghosts of Telford Past. That's a good one.
That'll be a good one.
Like now, it'd be like Big Brother when they finish it and it's just an empty building.
Yeah.
Somebody wants to put a model on the floor of Telford in the hall. You know, nothing in there, just that. I know we one of our members put one of our aprons on the gates. Yes, dark dirt is probably the thing where, for the colours of the washes, dark dirt, original dark dirt isn't the form you get now. The original dark dirt was almost like a gunship grey. It was a very, very dark grey, a blacky grey colour. And when I sort of standardised the range, we go from black to dark dirt. We needed dark dirt to be one of those colours that works on even on black. So we wanted it to show through on the very dark colours as well as the light, because dark dirt on black looks brown, but on grey looks very dark. So it's one of those colours which just slips into there to be pretty much all colours. So yeah, it's one of those great colours for everything. And a lot of people say to me, if you had to buy two colours, what would you buy? My answer simply is dark dirt and grime, because between those two you can do absolutely everything. The great thing about the other colours, obviously, you know, if you've got the light wash, you can then lighten any of the colours. You know, the white one, it will do it. Also, the white one, you see there, you can do winter things with and stuff like that. The grey wash is great because, again, it's one of those, it's in between colour, works really well on white and all of those things. As I say, we used it on the Hellcat. We must glue that on. So the Hellcat's got it on there with the grey wash and everything else. But again, with that one, I mixed a little bit of other colours into that just to model it around. So not every panel line is just the same colour right the way from the front to the end. It's different. So you just come along and with it, so you literally have your wash. I'll quickly show you. Like that. Okay, so if you've got something like this and it's on here, what you can do is you can grab, bring it back. So you've got it on here, so you can think to yourself, right, okay, well, look, we're just going to come along. We're going to add a little bit of sand into this. So we're just going to grab a little bit of the sand wash, and you can just mottle it around and put it here, there, and everywhere. And you can just stipple it as well, just to break it up. So some of it's sandy colour, some of it's not. So you can literally just come along, and you let this dry in situ. So the panel lines, it might be up here, be like very dark, might almost be black, and then it'll fade off. And it will go into then another colour and various stuff. So you can grab a little bit of the brown if you wanted to. And you can literally, if you stipple, you can mottle. And then when it dries, as you take it off, it will be all various different shades and colours as well. The other common question is, a lot of people say about if you've got like a camo scheme, So if you were on something like all this, you know, would you use different colours? So, you know, perhaps use a grey on the white, and then obviously on here, no, I don't. I literally just use the same colour. So dark dirt over everything on this type of colour, because it will show on the darkest ones, it will show on the lightest ones, and go through. Afterwards, if you wanted to, you could just overcoat in certain areas, but it's just as easy to give that nice overall sort of worn effect to it, rather than going through. Well, but again, we did all of that one. It's got oils on this one as well. It's not just wash, but it's the wash is the basis for it.
Matt, are you able to get hold of any more Italy Starfighter cockpits?
I'll have a look. I'll have a look. Let me just finish what I'm doing. I'll have a look and I'll let you know.
Okie doke.
All right.
There's something Dickinson about Flory. Well, it's not the colour.
Yeah, the age.
All right. Excuse me. You are the old man of the group.
No, Andy is.
Oh, is it Andy? What, with his boyish good looks and now he's dyeing his hair? Yeah, I forgot Andy is, yes. Robbie says he just subscribed for the year. Looking forward to watching all the videos. Good luck. I think we worked out you've got to sit there for something now if you was to watch the lot.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it takes you over a year. So we've got something like 7,000 videos now in total.
I tell you what, Netflix have got nothing on you, have they?
Well, no, this is it. So yes, don't forget, like and subscribe as well, everyone. It helps our algorithm. Do you know what? I got, you know, we had that slight issue where somebody took umbrage to us the other day.
Yeah.
Well, we got demonetized for a month because of that.
Oh.
So we lost all of our £1.80 revenue from YouTube for that month. I got sent a thing saying that due to this, that, and the other, you've been demonetized for all of October.
So we never found out what it was?
No. And I can't be bothered. It's £18, so I'm not that worried about it. So for 18 quid, I am not going to kick off about, you know, oh, I want my 18 quid back. They can get stuffed. So, yes. Oh, well.
I think we've been pretty good lately on our Thursday shows for not.
To be honest, we haven't upset anyone for at least a couple of months. I don't know how we've done it. We usually upset someone. Yes, for all you YouTubers out there, how do you get away with not getting demonetized all the time? Simon says, good morning, gents. Any plans to get the Rodin World War II 18-inch gun back in stock? Can anyone recommend a good VC10 kit in 144? I can recommend a 72nd, but I wouldn't say it's a good one.
You know, talking about demonetizing.
Yes.
Word you just said, it's on their algorithm to demonetize.
Oh, so that's it. I've been done again, will I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, look, Nate's got the classic. Is that still got the foil on it?
Yeah.
Wow, look at that. It's got the Shinky on it.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me put you on full screen.
Yeah.
Still sealed.
Look at that, still sealed.
I tell you, that'll be in an auction near you soon. Probably, it'll probably be tonight when we're on doing the quiz.
Got a nice set of decals to go with it somewhere as well. I mean, it's got raised panel lines, but I mean, how many people do that kit in that scale?
Well, this is it. Well, your other option, of course, is that if it's
Rodin's,
isn't it?
Rodin do a VC10, don't they?
Yeah.
What's the one that Ron bought? The windows.
That's a Rodin one. The one where the windows get smaller as it gets to the back.
Yeah, it's a perspective
one. Don't know.
Well, I like a bit of perspective.
Your back plumb though. Don't know. I mean, you're going to probably sand off the panel lines in 144 scale. You could prescribe the wings.
I'll tell you what, now, if you're going to sand them off, just doing the seam lines and
fill
in the gaps.
You'll lose them anyway, aren't you?
Yes. What about that 8-inch gun?
I'll have a look as well.
The World War One 8-inch gun by
I'll
Rhodey.
tell you what, I've got to make a phone call at luncheon to somebody, Gary.
Tiger Hobbies.
And I'll ask him because he gets Rodin and he might.
I'll get his logo and it'll flash across the screen.
We've got to do it for him. We said we would.
Yes.
So yeah, he's probably watching us actually. He's at work this morning, so he'll be rummaging around his warehouse if he's looking for one. I'll probably get his phone will flash in a minute. Yeah, I've got some. But yeah, I'll find out. So it's just the World War One. You don't want the limber and all the other stuff. It's just the gun on its own.
That's what he says. Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't know if you now have to buy it as the set, as in with the tractor and stuff. I don't know if they do it separate, but I will have a look and let you know. I need a list, so I've got that to do. What was the other one, Andy? Oh, the cockpit.
Hi guys, do you, if you're still there, can you please tell me where to buy and get a coral dust wash for Pacific World War II fighter aircraft? Or it may be called for the Corsairs and P-40s. Well, I don't know about that one. We don't do a coral wash, but I did that version. I'll hold it on now. So we did this one. This is my Hellcat, which is it's just basically the grey wash on this one. This is how I did mine. I did it like this. Go through. Very happy how it turned out, actually, apart from the decals. But hey, you won't go down that road. This is a happy show.
John's modelling. What's going on here?
Yeah, what's John modelling? Why are you reading questions? Hey!
I am reading questions. I'm multitasking.
Behave, you're a man. You can't do that.
Question in chat that John says from John. It says, "I'm a retired manager of a model railway shop that used to do a lot of shows and trade stand as trade stand. Question for the team is: are you missing anything from not going?"
Yeah, the meeting. The meeting of people.
Yes, yeah. I think that literally is the thing. We were talking about this. It's not being one even together as a group, but also meeting you guys, because that's the highlight of doing it, isn't it? It's meeting everyone and yapping and talking and
Yeah, it's a social aspect of Telford. It's not so much the actual working bit. Get that bit amiss, but the social bit of it, yeah, I think so. It's nice to get together and obviously meet the different SIGs and groups. And hey, has it come through the ceiling yet?
I think they're just chucking it off the roof currently.
So yeah, it's that side of it I think miss more than anything. But at least we've got this to do, haven't we? It's not a complete washout, is it? So
no.
You know, we've got the chat on and stuff. So
it's the people that make Telford, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
It's
100%.
people that you see. I mean, that's the thing. You meet certain people at model shows, and it's like I've not seen them now for a year, really.
Yeah.
Some you only meet at Telford.
Yeah.
Some you don't miss at all, but
a couple that you don't miss, I'll admit. Yeah.
I think the other thing as well is obviously like looking at the tables and stuff and the inspiration you can get from obviously the competition, and you know it's nice to see that bit, and that bit's really been missing this year. I think obviously you know you do get your Facebook groups and stuff, but that side of it's a bit
And it's watching these lot disappear when they hear of a bargain in another hall on the wingnut stand. You can see the mixture. I've got to stay. I've got to go. I've got to stay. I've got to go.
Yeah.
You never see John move so fast. It's like
everybody chucking in money. Here's one.
Yeah, we normally send a scout out, don't we, just to have a look every now and again.
It is one of the perks of actually getting in early as well, isn't it? To be honest, on a Saturday morning, because before obviously everybody gets in, you can have a quick run round just to see, you know, what is about, who's got what on offer, and so
Rob again asked, which wash is best for tyres?
It depends really what environment you're in, isn't it? I think obviously if you're doing like a dusty one, then obviously the sand wash works well, but normally the grime. Oh, Andy's just disappeared.
Yeah, I quite like the grime. That's my favourite.
I'm still there. I'm just checking the cameras.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, look. Oh.
So yeah, it depends what environment. Obviously, if you're thinking earthy colours, then the grime wash is great for it, but obviously the mud wash as well. So it depends what you're driving on, isn't it? And again, if you're going dusty, then either the sand or the grey wash works well for dust.
I tell you what, as well, if you mix them with pigments, brill.
Mm.
Do a bit of a mix, it's good.
Samuel says, what about a good 70-second P38 Lightning? What one?
Academy's one, I think, very good. I'm trying to think who does one in 70 seconds now. If you can get hold of the Academy one, it's that usual thing.
All right. The dogs have just spotted the roofers.
I actually wonder, now this is a bit of a speculation thing here, but if Tamiya will downsize their 48 to 70 second, because they've obviously done it with the 109s.
Yes.
And a few others. Now, I know I've got no information on whether this will happen or not, but they've obviously got all the designs and everything, haven't they? So I wonder if it'll get downscaled by them at some point.
Yes.
I don't know, actually. Proper under thingy. Get a P38 in 70 seconds. I'm trying to think who does one. I'm a bit stumped. I'm going to have a look. I'm going to Google it.
As for hanging planes on walls, clearly, yeah, I use guitar hangers. That's what mine are. We did a video on it. You can buy, I think it was like a pack of 6 that I've got, guitar hangers, because you can actually make the spread differently on there. The only thing I would say, just be careful, because I noticed when I moved one of my models the other day, is that I didn't put any tape, like Tamiya tape, over them. So the rubber is melting, or will be melting, because it was a bit sticky when I did it, onto the model where it's actually gripping. So it's probably worth putting just a smidge of like Tamiya tape as a barrier or something in between the rubber of the actual guitar arms, okay, and your model. It's only because I had to move the A10 the other day, because the A10's hanging up there as well now. It's down on the other side, and I lifted it off, and it was stiff. It actually had stuck, and you lift it off, and you can see. And it was. I think over time, what will happen is the rubber, the spongy rubber that's onto the cushion on the guitar hangers, will melt into the actual model itself. So it's probably worth putting a little bit of Tamiya tape on.
Right then.
Hold
on. Hold on. I've just had some information come in about the howitzer.
Yes.
Gary, put it to one side. I need it because he's watching. Because I've just had a thing. He's got one in stock.
Right. Okay. There you go. See, this is good live stuff here.
And he's got more VC10s coming in, the RAF one soon. And he's also got one with East African Airways.
Oh.
So for the African SIG and everything. So there you go. So yeah. So who wanted the howitzer? Well, have we got a name?
Hold on, I'll just show them the. Let me just wiggle my camera. You can see how I have mine hanging up.
He'll be adding this to me.
That's how I have mine hanging on the wall.
Like I said, Phil, I wonder if it's because of spraying lacquer thinners it melts the rubber. Because I mean, I've had £1,000 guitars hanging on from mine for years and never had any trouble with them at all. But then not in my modelling room, you see. So
pass.
Yeah.
Oh, look, too low now. I'll move my camera. Yeah, I'm not sure. As I say, it's one of those weird sort of things with it. It could be 100 things, isn't it? It could be the paint, the lacquer finish reacting with the material.
Yeah.
I don't know. They've only been up there now for the last sort of 6 months or so, so it'll be interesting to see long term. But it's only because I had to move the A10. I went to lift it off, and it was physically stuck to it. It took a bit to pop it off where it was sticking. And when you look at it, you can actually see some movement on the edges.
I've got some info on the P38 70 if you're interested.
Yeah.
Hobby Boss do one, which will be, I don't know what that is like. RS models do quite a few versions of it. They do an A, an E, a G, and an F, and they're bringing out a H at some point.
Yeah.
And the other one is Italia bringing one out.
Yes, Mark says that in chat as well. He says
they're bringing the J out. I don't know if that's their kit or somebody else's. I know nothing about that. Might be worth scale mating that kit. And I think Dragon did one, if you can get it. They did a P38. So that's the option so far. I don't know when this Italy one's coming out, but at least you'll get a super decal sheet.
Yes. Question for Andy: do you play the guitar?
I used to.
Take that as a no. Then anybody who goes, I would say no.
Well, fair. I've probably not picked one up for a good 6-7 years. So I can play the guitar, but I don't play the guitar. If you know what I mean. I've been playing it since I was a teenager, but I don't play.
He knows all the chords, but not necessarily in the right order.
The right order, exactly.
Tell you what, Nathan's like Jimmy Page on a guitar. I'll tell you, he might give us a rendition tonight to Come By Art in between.
We can all sit round the fire.
I say I'm pretty accomplished guitar player, but I don't bother playing anymore.
Hey, so. I've got an idea what these pair can do. They can do the dueling banjos. Ding, 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 ding. I'll tell you what, people pay to watch that because I would.
Yeah, I
would. Steve asks Matt, any news on the Bandai Star Wars kits?
They're in stock. They're in. If they're not sold out, they're in.
Do we go round to the
Yeah,
Bandai section? Hold on.
There is only limited ones that we can get in this country. We can't get the full range.
Yeah,
so.
Can't get the full jobby lot because it's all what we Revel bring in. But yeah, they're in. Look, the only one that's not in is the big Falcon. But we can get that if you want one. Ask me because I can get that in if anybody's interested.
Yes.
PM Andy.
And of course, there is 10% off them if you buy them
Yep.
today and
10%
tomorrow.
off today.
Yeah.
And tomorrow till 5.
Yep.
Yes, there you go. Don't do that. Right. Apparently, they do specialist hangers. Barry's saying that have been treated so they don't eat the lacquer on the neck, the head.
Oh.
It probably is because mine were Amazon cheap. That's
Yeah.
probably what it was. You know what they say? Buy cheap.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, mine were from a guitar store. Proper
Yeah,
one.
mine weren't.
Oh.
You know that thing
Matt
too
is
good to be true.
asking. Matt's asking how we go about gluing tiny parts on armour. He says they tend to ping out of his tweezers and then go missing in the carpet.
Yeah, that's about right.
Yep.
Next. What you can do, if you get some, dip your ends of your tweezers in rubber solutions like mask oil and stuff like that. But then you have the trouble, I find, if you do that, they grip too well. So you're trying to put the bit in, and then you come away and it's stuck. Even if you've got your tweezers open, it's stuck on one half because it hasn't actually glued in. There's a quick tip for you on this one. If you're doing small parts and you're sticking it to your model, okay, what you can do is put a tiny bit of super glue on one side and kicker on the other. So if you get a brush of kicker and brush where you're going to put it, and then dip your part in super glue and then touch it, it will be instant rock hard grab. And then if you wanted to afterwards, you can come along with a little bit of normal weld action glue just to make it a more secure joint.
If you're doing really small parts, these are useful.
Wax pencils.
Yeah, wax pencils, or you can get do Trumpeter do a thing with a little red sticky end, don't they? Is it Trumpeter, Matt?
Yes. Vallejo and Modelcraft do them.
Is it?
I think we've got the Vallejo ones, and I think the Modelcraft ones have sold out. But yeah, they've got like a pickup tool. Is that what you mean? I'll go and get one. I'll show you.
Yeah, it's got like a red sort of like soft plastic end on it. But yeah, so these are useful. It's like just you can buy them in packs of
a million
from
come in like packs of 12 from China for people.
Yeah,
there you go, look.
About 10 pence. So you can. That's it. Yeah.
The pickup tool.
It's not a red end, is it?
No.
No, and it's by Vallejo. It's a close on every front. Yeah, Matt, here's one for you. John says, hello guys, he's been on Brit Modeler and found out that Hobby Boss are releasing 3 brand new tooled F8F Bearcats in 72nd. Is it possible to get one, please?
Yeah, Bearcats. Hold on, they're in.
Are they in?
I'll check and I'll check our supply now, and I'm sure as eggs because I've just been doing Hobby Boss.
Oh, right.
Then you can get those wax pencils off eBay. Dirt cheap.
Very.
Don't go to there's some modelling sites that sell them for £10 for a pencil.
You'll get us into trouble again.
Yeah. But We can get them dirt cheap off the off eBay.
eBay.
Any news about the Kitty Hawk SU25? Sorry, Victor, we spoke about this last night. Kitty Hawk, you're better off honestly going direct. You can buy direct from Kitty Hawk now.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, we can't get them. By the time we get them, everyone's got them. It's ridiculous. So we've sort of given up now.
Proper annoying though, isn't it?
Oh,
Is that actually out yet? Because I've not seen anything about it.
I don't think it's out.
I don't think it's out yet.
But even when it comes out, John, we won't see it because.
Yeah, I was going to say we'll see it sometime when
right
everyone's
then.
got it.
I'll tell you what I'll do, right? Because we can get these in really fast. These bear cats, I'll just whack them in the shop.
Right.
Load of stock. I'll just load them in, and then whoever wants one, we can get them. I'll put a couple in stock of each.
Don't
That's
forget the
not a
code.
bad kit.
Don't forget the code.
No, I won't forget the code.
Right. Anyway, it's now it's time to pass over to Andy, who will be demonstrating. Where's my list? Silver paints.
No pressure.
Yes.
No pressure, Andy. You'll be fine. Oh,
silver
hold on. Which one is easy? It's that seat.
Silver paints are my nemesis, and I ain't got a clue why Phil asked me to demo silver paints, I'm sure. But I shall just show you which one I'm going to do. Probably I'm going to do lacquer paints because I do find them the easiest to do. Oh, and we're upside down.
Oh, look.
So anyway, these are what
you were
we're
giving John grief about that.
Yeah. Well, that's why I was messing around with this camera just a second ago trying to get to work. So these are ones we're going to be looking at. I've yesterday or the day before rather, I pre-prepared this. This is my buster. I've just basically sanded it down and sprayed it with a gloss black, and I used GX2 black that way around to paint that to get a nice shiny surface. Depending on what type of surface you want on the silver, you can either shiny black will give you a nice shiny silver surface. If you spray it in a matte black or a grey primer, you'll get different surfaces. So it's worth playing around with what sort of base coat you use when you're doing the silver paint. And also, you need to have a really nice finished surface because anything you see on your silver will come through on your surface. This isn't one of them because this is my buster, and even though I have sanded it down, there's still lots of rough patches on it.
So what Andy's just saying is getting his excuses in first.
Yeah. Exactly. So I shall just excuse me. So just flip cameras over.
Oh God, he's very posh here, isn't it?
Ish.
Picture in picture.
Is it dark enough? So I'm going to spray various areas on the aircraft. Once it starts getting a bit too foggy and noisy, I'll have to turn the extractor on, and then I'll flick back over to Phil while I carry on painting, and they can entertain you.
Phil can do commentary on it.
I'll do the commentary. Here we see the Molyneux, its natural habitat. Actually, look at that filter. It's almost like brand new.
Gonna say.
That's his first ever filter he's had, and he's had that thing like 10 years now.
Gonna say if Andy uses his extractor, that's got to be a first.
It's not my first filter. My extractor's primed and ready to go.
He's got to find the plug for it first. He hadn't seen the plug for years.
I did actually buy off Amazon the other day some Wi-Fi plugs, so I could just say to Alexa, "Oh, she's not
turn on the extractor."
Yes, but
I
haven't plugged it in. It's right. It's still downstairs. So, right, I'm going to mix these all with levelling thinners. I decant them into these things similar to what Phil uses. I got these off Matt. That used to say levelling on it until it got covered in. And I'll do them all approximately 50-50. We'll start off with the firm favourite, which is Tamiya X11. But I'll do a small pot with X11 because...
So this is just the acrylic X11, yeah?
Yes, yeah. Just normal Tamiya X11, yeah. We'll start with, because then we can have a look at the differences between the two, between the X series and also the LP series. which is their newer one, which is a proper lacquer paint. And also, in my defence, another excuse, before we came on, I was cleaning my airbrushes, and actually you probably saw me while we were on as well, trying to clean my airbrushes. And both my Harder and Steenbecks have decided to cause me problems.
Oh.
Pressure-wise, I'm going to be doing these at 8.65 psi. I haven't got a clue what it is. I'm saying with Phil, I've got a Mac valve on here, which I know Phil has got on some of his, but he doesn't use it often. Then also I've got a Mac valve here. This is the Pro Convoy airbrush. It's a nice, cheapish one. So yeah, I just turned it down so it sounds right to me. It probably sounds different to you because the microphone's in different places to where my ears are. And then we shall spray. Because this is a horrible paint, I'm going to spray it on a small area. But well, it's not even spraying very well. A lightish coat
TV, everyone.
That's what you get for XF11.
Yeah. Lightish area, and then sort of like build it up as we go across. But you can see already, I can see already to my eye, that it's looking very, very speckly. And that's because of the size of the pigments in X11. And it is one of them problems. And as I always say, if you start building it up too much, just cut to air, spray it over, then go back to your paint. But that will do for that, I think. The rough coverage, but I say it's difficult to see on camera, I think.
Silver's a nightmare on camera, full stop.
Yeah, but to my eye, that looks very, very speckly, which is as normal for X11. And as we all should do, I'll tip the extra back into the.
What we do after this, we'll get Andy take a couple of photos, bang them up on the forum, and I'll show them on the show.
Definitely. Yeah. So, because we've only got one airbrush, I've got to clean it out now. I use for cleaning, I've got it marked up as slow thinner just to differentiate it between other bottles, because we've got Mr. Hobby rapid leveling thinner and rapid thinner in these bottles, but I've got one called slow thinner. What it is actually is it's just car lacquer thinners that Matt gets through his industry contacts.
X-industry.
X-industry, yeah. But I just use it literally just for cleaning my airbrush out and run it through rather than using the good stuff because it's cheaper. And I just use a brush, an old brush. Once these die, then one of my new brushes then goes onto it, and I'm getting lacquer thinners all over my model. And then I blow it out into a pot, which is why my filter doesn't look used, because I don't blow it into my filter.
Oh. All right, I may do that.
That's my excuse.
That was a cheap dig at me, I'll tell you.
Well, I do it as well. I must admit, I just shove it in the filter.
I was doing some at Matt's once, and I said to where do you put your paint? He said, just blow it into the filter. Okay.
Yeah, I do that as well.
Yeah. Right, so I'm now going to mix up Tammy LP. Which one is this one? LP 38. Give it a good stir, a good mix up. I would normally shake these a lot more, but I'm just using a cocktail stick, toothpick, whatever you want to call it, just to stir them to mix them all up. Off camera, because sure you're not bothered about seeing me mix a paint. And that shows you why you need to mix them well.
Yes.
Because I had already pre-shaken these, and even so, it's still got.
Again, I think that's an important point to make. A lot of people say about, obviously, with the trouble with paints in general, but metallics, it's probably one of our most asked questions, and people say about. And like the two things I think that definitely will help is, first of all, your preparation, like Andy was saying, the preparation of the model, what you're spraying onto, because with metallics, there's nothing to hide behind. You can't just add a bit more paint because it will just look it worse and all the rest of it. But also is making sure your paint is thoroughly mixed. Even metallics, you know, they are literally the worst for separating. And like you saw then, it's like glue at the bottom. So make sure you get in there, properly mix them up. And then even when you know, if you're adding thinners to it and things like that, make sure they are mixed to an inch of their life, because a good, you know, even mix right the way through the paint is almost a must. Because that minute where you end up with a thicker bit will be the bit where it doesn't dry.
Because this is so bad, I'm going to use my trusty
Badger stirrer.
And again, if you've never used one of these, always put it in before you turn it on.
No, I thought he was going to spray.
And always turn it off before you take it out, because
yeah, no, pull it out and give it a whiz. Clean your shit off.
Yeah. And give this a good mix up, because it's not very good at all.
Yes, Andy, I do. The BB300D is the ones I've got. I've got 2 of those bench vents. Highly recommended. They are absolutely fantastic bits of kit.
Oh, these extractors.
Yeah. So to be honest, we've all got them. So.
And again, I'm mixing them out of the colour cup, everything, and then I'm just literally just pour measure into the shot glass. Again, I always use medical shot glasses because they're that soft type of plastic that doesn't melt. If you get the proper shot glasses, quite often they're hard brittle plastic, and then it just melts.
Yes, I had an experience at the beginning of the year of this very thing, because I have got the cheap ones, and unfortunately I left one on top of my giant Millennium Falcon, and I came down in the morning and the shot glass had melted to a 45-degree angle. Thank God it hadn't actually melted right the way through. But I think another hour it probably would have done, and then put thinners all over me model. So lesson there, kids.
If you want to be dolphin friendly, the little glass scientific beakers.
Yeah, to be honest, John, I was thinking about that. I was going to have a look around, and because I was definitely going to invest in some of them for myself, get those little shot beakers.
Just clean them out and reuse them.
Yeah, yeah.
So this one now is Tommy LP38 their lacquer range, and I can immediately, as soon as I start spraying it, you can tell it just feels finer. Yeah, it's going on as a fine spray rather than sort of like, you know, bitty.
It's a thinner coat, isn't it, as it goes on as well? I find with the LP range, it's not that it's a thinner paint, it's just that the pigment is finer. So it gives a more natural metal type finish with all the entire LP range.
Yeah, I mean, with the other one, you could literally sort of like by eye, you could probably count the flakes in it.
It's always thin, really, isn't it? With that and their XF16, their aluminium is awful. It's literally like grit.
But at one time, it was all we had, wasn't it? So,
it was, yeah, literally, that was it.
Or you use rattle cans.
It was the thing until Alclad came along, wasn't it?
Yes, yeah, it was. Alclad was the game changer, because first time we had a proper metal, very thin, a very fine pigment.
But again, I don't know whether you can tell on camera, but
no, we can see it's actually not a bad picture.
Yeah, they look completely different to me, to art by eye, and say it'll show better when I take some photos of it. Yeah, completely different they are.
I haven't actually got any LP11, but is it right that it's more of like a high-speed silver paint finish rather than a natural metal finish?
Yeah.
I must admit, it's my go-to now. LP11 is what I used on my 32nd Gladiator we did recently, and it's one of those colours that doesn't come out on camera very well, but to the naked eye, it looks spot on for sort of high-speed silver.
I think if you're doing, say, like a P38, it'd be a nice colour for the wings of a P38.
Yeah.
As opposed to the, obviously, because they were putted and painted rather than being... Sorry, P51, sorry.
Yeah.
I know what I'm talking about. Just...
Yeah, for painted silver effect, I think LP11 it's just got that right sort of scale effect. And again, it's one of those, you know, we were talking about this the other week. There is a difference between a metallizer and a silver paint. And obviously these are silver paints. So this is that thing, we call it high-speed silver in the UK, that they've seen. Mustang wings, obviously, when they were painted, because they were puttied and painted in the silver, they're not metal, it's actually a silver colour. F86s as well, that's the funny one, isn't it? That one they've got at Duxford. We were lucky enough many years ago, Flooring Models members got a walk around it and a play. And it's funny because right up to it, it's grey. But when you see it flying in the sky, it's silver. And because it says it's a silver colour, but it's actually grey, like a metallic grey. Weird colour system on those.
Right, so next one I'm going to be looking at is the Attacker
Aluminum.
C078 aluminium.
I'll translate for our American brethren.
Right, the Bearcats are in stock if anybody wants them.
All right, okay, Bearcats are in stock, everybody.
And also, there's just been I've just been informed again by my manor in Barnsley that with Bandai stuff, I've just redone the Bandai as well.
Right.
If anybody wants that, the only things I think we haven't got is the B wings and the little Star Destroyers, but the other lot's in. So X-wings, TIE fighters, AT-ATs. So fill your boots.
Right, I've again pre-mixed it out of the bottle in the colour in the shot glass, inner shot glass. We're using separate shot glasses for each one so I don't contaminate the paint. I've not thinned this as much. Everything's by eye. It just doesn't seem to be. It's not as thick out the bottle as obviously Tamiya. So I've not thinned it quite as much as I have done, but I have thinned it a bit more again. Same with leaven thinners. In traditional floral fashion, I've put half a full colour cup in me thing for just doing a little mount, don't they? I'm trying to keep them as close together so we can see them in contrast to each other. And then when I get onto the proper ones, I'll start doing the wings and. So again, this is spraying very nicely, similar to the Tamiya LP. With it being aluminium, it's slightly shinier. Actually, that's sprayed really nicely. I know we've tried it before, and that's actually gone really nice.
He's surprised at himself. That's always a good sign.
Yeah. What is worth noting is on this kit, I don't know if you can see the seam line down the centre. That was never there when I originally built the kit.
So you've got a ghost scene come back if you
Yeah, we'll talk about it with different using different fillers.
Yeah.
It's all come back in the on the centre, yeah.
Robert's there saying, for the Star Wars fans out there, which metal colour for the Razor Crest, the Mandalorian? Crikey.
Didn't hear that, sorry.
Didn't hear a word of that.
Yeah, so go on.
No, he's just saying about for what colour would you use for the Mandalorian, the Razor Crest? That's a lot of colours, I would say.
Which Mandalorian? The actual one on the film, the TV series we watch, or the?
Yeah, I think he's on about the series. No, the new one, isn't it?
Is that the ship?
I'd probably try. The ship. Oh, not his armour.
Not him. No. The Razor Crest is shit. Thing is, it's made up. I'll be honest. It's made up of probably around about 10 different shades of metallizers. That's the thing, to give it that scale effect as well. I don't think it's just one overall. Personally, I think I would probably go in with something like polished aluminiums and that type of thing for the more shiny areas, and then for the darker stuff, just normal aluminiums, and then perhaps some stainless steels to get the blue hues and things like that into it as well. One of those ones where it's panelled, so it's worth breaking them up with different coloured panels in there.
I've just moved the mic away from my spray a bit, so hopefully it shouldn't be as bad. But like I said, yeah, that has gone on really nice. I was quite impressed with that.
And he's impressed himself. You can tell that.
This is one of the fallbacks, the problems with these dropper bottles. Because I've mixed it up and I've got that left in my colour cup.
Mm.
And it's a pain in the arse to get back in there.
Yes.
So, yeah, you literally sort of like, chucking your paint away. Whereas, like, the Tamiya's and
Mr. White necks, you can get them back in, isn't
it? Yeah, well, you can do it. It's just a lot of faffing around and,
Just end up losing all your paint when you take the lid off the thing.
Shall I tell you how to do it, Andy? What you do, squeeze the bottle, your silver bottle, upright, so you've squeezed it, and then turn it upside down, shove it in your colour cup and suck it back up into the bottle. That's what I do.
I remember that.
Quick tip for everyone, just make sure you do it, when you squeeze it slowly, so it doesn't spit silver paint everywhere, and then stick it upside down in your colour cup and suck the paint back up into the bottle. Because I'm cheap and tight, and that's what I do.
What I'm going to be doing with this kit once it's actually finished this morning is then I'm going to use it for a chipping demonstration because it's got the silver on. Mm-hmm. I'm going to use different various chipping products that we've got.
I might get Buster and give him another coat of buffables and we'll polish him tomorrow.
Yeah. I've got a buffable here to do as well. Which is one of my
least says, which wash do we use for the underside on the Hellcat? That's the dark dirt. Dark dirt under there, I think it was.
Right, so the next one I'm going to be using is AK Extreme Metal polished aluminium, and this I won't thin. I think it's thin enough out in the bottle. You can thin it a bit, but it's
another quick tip for this, just because Andy won't do it, but I'll tell him, and he might do. If you get a little bit of enamel thinners and blow it through your airbrush before you put that paint in, if you're using lacquers or acrylics.
That's a very good point. I might leave that one to the last.
Purely because that stuff doesn't like lacquers and it doesn't like acrylics. It likes enamel. So if you get contamination with your airbrush, it can cause a little bit of blockage when you very first start spraying. You can blow it through, but I always literally put a tiny bit of enamels before using extreme metals just to coat your nozzle, needle and all the bits and pieces. Because I think it just works better. I've found good results that way.
Anyway, because this isn't live and Phil can cut that bit out.
Yeah.
Next one I'm going to be doing is this.
Cool.
This is Mr. Colour Super Metallics Super Stained Steel. I like these paints. I'm a fan of Mr. Colour paints anyway, to be honest with you. Mr. Hobby, Mr. Colour paints. But yeah, these are very, very nice. And of course, we stock all of these in the shop.
We do. We stock everything.
We do. They work really well with the rapid thinners as well.
Yeah. But obviously not with metallics because it'll go flat. But yeah, especially the aqueous, especially if you're using aqueous, this is an aqueous. One of the problems you have with aqueous paints is they take a long time to dry and they form that skin. Mm-hmm. If you use rapid thinners, it sort of dries a lot quicker. You don't get that skin problems you have with aqueous paints. I'm sure we've all been there in the past where you've tried picking up kit up a couple of days after you've painted it with aqueous, and you get that fingerprints in the paint because it hasn't dried properly. Whereas if you do it with rapid thinners, it takes that problem away.
Yeah.
Which is also very nice. Right, I'm going to do one of the big links with this because I like this. This is where it all goes wrong and it makes me look a fool. Right, into my colour cup. Again, mixed in a shot glass so it's mixed properly, hopefully, out of my colour cup. Again, thin coat to start off with. It's going on nice and thin, nice and fine again. I'll do a full wing of this. That's not the sound of my compressor, by the way.
Sorry, that's me, guys. I think the guys may be shaping the lead on the roof. I'll turn myself down a little bit.
You should be well stocked for nose weight then, Phil.
To be honest, this is the trouble. There's no lead up there. That's why it needs lead. That's why it's leaking. I haven't got the heart to say I nicked it.
Nicked your own roof lead.
I don't know if you can see it on camera, but that's gone absolutely beautifully.
Very
Yeah.
Which is why it's one of my favourites. Go-to.
What number's that again, Andy?
This one was Mr. Colour
5.
204.
204.
Which is stainless too, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm just going to do some more with it. Seeing his
Immediate for his chippy.
again, this is just showing you can literally just bang it down. You don't have to.
To be honest, that's what I love about that stuff. You literally just chuck it down like you do a paint. You don't really treat it like a metallizer.
Yeah. But if you get that thin coat, but you got it so like it's not patchy, you get to the stage where you can still see the black starting to shine through, can't you? And it gives it that shininess. Whereas if you bang it down, it's all like it's all like takes that away a bit. But yeah, that's
Because some metallics are more like plating, aren't they? We've discussed this before. Plating rather than spraying.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Outclads used to be like that, didn't they? And I think it's similar where you're plating it really rather than painting.
Yeah, that's the Mr. Metal Colour. Sorry, the Super Metallics number 204. So it's SM204, which is stainless steel 2.
Yeah.
But all of their range is really, really nice. So, I really do like using those. Right, I'm going to now do the Extreme Metal AK, and then last off I'll do I'll spray, or rather attempt to spray, Mr. Colour Buffable.
Ooh, good luck with that.
Because I absolutely hate spraying and stuff in it. It always blocks my airbrush, so I'm going to do that last one.
Never sprayed.
Again, that's an enamel based, isn't it, Bill?
Yes. Yeah.
Just cleaning my airbrush out whilst we're waiting.
So what are you going to do, Phil, now you're not going to have a leaky roof?
I don't know, I'm going to have to keep emptying the buckets every other day. I'll have a newfound half hour in my life.
A load of new buckets.
Yeah, that's it. I'm going to have a load of buckets more to do them then.
Could you not actually hear the water dripping into the bucket?
Yeah, but I was smart and I put a piece of carpet in there so you couldn't hear it dripping.
Right.
Oh God, does that just drive you insane?
So it hits the actual carpet and then soaks through into the bucket.
Right.
As Phil mentioned, I'm using a bit of enamel thinners just to clean the airbrush out. Since I've been using lacquer thinners, to stop contamination, cross contamination, just giving it a good swig out, and with it underneath my airbrush with thinners in it, ready to spill thinners all over it. Yeah, but like I said, spraying Mr. Colour Buffable, it's not a nice experience. I find it's really nice for brush painting, but yeah, spraying it just another thing. Right, so this is polished aluminium AK 481. Good shake. As I said, I won't thin it because it's thin as it is, unless I do need to, but I don't think I will need to. Good shake.
Well, everyone's been watching the demos. Because the chat goes really quiet.
Yeah. Right. This is one of Phil's firm favourites.
Yes, it is. We like that stuff.
I'm going to turn it down a touch because I'm a bit over. Right. Again, sprays beautifully.
Right, Rob asks, which of those would you be safe masking over?
All of them. I don't understand when people have trouble masking over silvers like this, because again, I showed it over when I did all the walkways on the B17. In theory, you should, if it's totally dry and gone off, you shouldn't have any problem masking over it at all. I'm sure people put down too thick a coat, and it takes forever to dry, and then that way, you get sort of tape marks and all the rest of it.
I think that's what people worry about is the tape marks, isn't it? Is that just de-tack your tape a little bit.
I've got to admit, I always like spraying Mr. Colour, and I do use these, and I've got them, and that's gone on easier, and it was easier to spray than Mr. Colour was. This has been the easiest one out of all of them to get a nice even coat.
The other thing to remember as well that what Andy's using now is technically a metallizer, so it gives a more metal looking finish than what you would normally get from, say, a metallic finish. So the other ones he was using right up to now were technically metallics, and this one now is actually more of a metallizer, so it gives a more of a metal look.
And you notice it when you're spraying it, it sort of like goes on a bit dull, and when it starts drying, it sort of like comes back shiny again.
Yeah, and that is the biggest thing to remember with extreme metals is what you put down to start with won't be what you end up with in about half hour. As it dries, it gets more of a luster to it, and it really pops.
But that, like I said, that has sprayed really nice. I'm quite pleased with that.
Yes.
Not like thinners, not like thinners. Oh, try again. Using my enamel thinners.
As Andy's there, I can just show you on screen here. This is when I did the B17, and obviously all the walkways are masked, and that's me unmasking it all. And as you can see, there's no tape residue or marks, and that's the same colour as what Andy's just sprayed now, to give you an idea of what the sort of metal effect. So this would have gone off for about a day, and then I masked it all up, and we sprayed all the walkways in, and obviously the anti-glare panels on the engines and all of those, and the de-icing boots. And you see, you don't get anything at all. Once it's totally gone off, you're fine. Obviously, it was de-tacked first, but it's not like, you're in a situation where you're going to leave stuff behind, but it just needs time to go off. But I always say keep your paint coats thin because they can dry quicker. If they're quite thick, it takes forever to dry. So, yeah. Carry on, Andy. Sorry. Hijacking.
Yourself while I spray my airbrush. So, this has actually got some in it. So, lastly, we're going to be spraying.
You've gone quite a bit.
Have I?
That's it.
Is that right now?
Yeah, you're okay.
Right, so lastly, we're going to be spraying Mr. Metal Colour. This is stainless. I hate spraying this. I always find it clogs my airbrush up. It's not very nice. But if you do get it to go on really nicely, you can buff it up and it looks beautiful. It's nice for hand painting on small parts and or like engines and things like that, and buffing up. But we'll give it a go. Never know, it might behave itself today. Shake. Give it a quick stir with a fresh cocktail stick.
No, sorry, David, we don't have a stockist in Australia for the washes. You'll have to come direct to me. And apologies, because the postage, it's not our fault, it's just very expensive. So, but yes, thank you very much.
Again, one thing I find with this is you have to work quick because the pigments break down. It's sort of like the pigments settle in it very quickly. Even when you paint it, using it for hand brushing, so like you have to keep giving it a quick stir because all the pigments break down and they end up with just thinners on top. So I'll just give it a very quick brisk stir. Go into my colour cup. See if we can spray the stuff. And put your top on as well because it evaporates very quick. See, it's sort of like, sorry, it's sort of like stop starting on me all the time. It's a bit, it's not spraying as nicely as the others have.
The only thing I would say is that this isn't really designed for sort of airbrushing on like an area like you would do with a metallizer finish.
No.
It's really designed to do a small little area and then polish it up. You wouldn't do an entire model in it, for instance, because one, it'll just keep coming off your hand. It's more designed for doing a specific area or an item. If you wanted to do an engine, for instance, or something else like that. Out of all the finishes, I think it's the best, but the trouble that you have with this stuff as well, you need to overcoat it to seal it, otherwise it will be coming off on your hand forever.
Did you not do your P51 in it?
I was about to say, how did you manage to spray your P51 using that without it just plugging
When
you
I
in?
didn't use that, I used Mr. Whatever it is, the other one, when they did them.
Oh, the...
Yeah. Oh Christ, what
Yeah, when you can't get no more.
You can't get them anymore.
Model Master
Buffables. Not that one.
What's the difference?
This one's got a thicker pigment into it. I think these actually give a nicer metal finish. They buff up nicer. The other ones are almost like a metallic spray that buffs.
Right.
Whereas those are more of a, it's almost, this is spraying a pigment, a buffable pigment. That's what you're doing with this. So you can put down, the great thing about spraying it over hand painting this is like Andy's done there across the cowl. What it'll enable is that when he buffs it, I don't know which way he's going to do it, but if he brush buffs it, it will turn up absolutely like a mirror.
Yeah. I've put it on quite thick because it's easy to just buff straight through back to the black. So yeah, I mean it's an even coat, but I've put plenty on it so that there's plenty to buff because it's the pigments that you're trying to buff into it rather than the model. But
David's asking about getting sort of different panel colours. Would you mask and use different colours, or use different primers, or a combination?
I fair for ease. I just use the same line but different colours, and then just mask off a panel. I mean that's in stainless. Probably use an aluminium or something just to change your panel colours. Make sure it's dry properly so you don't pull any. But fair, all these now are all dry to the touch. Yeah, they're not too bad at all. But sort of like, so now where the camera picks up the different hues and shininesses of them.
It does. You can see it.
Once that's dry, I'll buff that up and see how shiny it comes.
And David Chandler asked, what's the technical difference between a metallic paint and a metallizer paint?
Phil.
Okay, so technically a silver paint is just a colour pigment that is you're doing, and you're painting something silver. That's literally what you're doing. A metallizer is to give a metal look. So it's actually, when you've sprayed it down and done your bit to it, so either by polishing or just by spraying, it is designed to give you that luster of a metal sheet of metal. So imagine it would be the same way. You can buy silver paint and you can paint your car silver, for instance, but at the same time, you've got this thing about if you had a natural metal finish car, Another way to look at it is obviously like a P-51's wings are painted silver. They're not metal, okay? But the bodywork is. So you've got that differences between the two as well. But basically a metallizer is to give a look of metal, and a metallic is to make things look silver. And obviously all the shades and hues that go between them all.
Well explained, Phil.
Clive wants to know what's the difference between LP11 and LP72 mica silver.
The mica silver is a lot more chromy. It's literally the LP11. I've used both. LP11 looks like a silver, like a dope linen silver or a high-speed silver. Mica silver is bang. It's really bright. It's like literally like a chrome. It's very, very bright. It's a lot stronger in its luster. So if you wanted something to look silvery, then obviously you go with LP11. If you wanted to look really bright, then you would go with the mica silver.
The difference with the mica is the spec in it is obviously when they do it a lot on cars now, you know, a lot of cars are painted in mica silver because when the sun shines on it, you get a better sparkle. So it's to do with the fleck.
One thing to note also, I don't know if you can actually see into my colour cup. Here we are. I've just cleaned this out as much as you would probably a normal colour on a, with your airbrush. Put some more thinners in it, and you can still see the metal specks in the thinners. Which is that one of the reasons. Yeah. 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 I mean, I've got 5 airbrushes, but say 2 of them I was cleaning this morning. 2 me hardened Steenbecks, and one of them's blown up through the air cup. Yeah, I've cleaned it again and retightened the seals, and it's still doing it. And the other one's blowing air up through the valve. So, and I didn't have time to fix them, so they can wait till later on. But yeah, so later on I'll polish that nose up and we can have a look at them. I'll take some photos of it and post up on the forum. And then later on this afternoon, I'm going to be using chipping fluids on it to do some chipping. And I'll do some different colour base coats on it to show how different chippings come out. And that is that. And one thing.
Well done, well done. Bravo.
Oops.
Got no sound. Got no sound apparently.
Sorry, try again. I was just saying it's really, really important to make sure you have a gloss black base underneath, purely because it's the finish. If you've got a textured finish, it won't look right. So if you go through the motions and you're putting it down like in here, this is literally where it just leveled out. This hasn't got a wash on it or anything else. It is literally just the gloss black, but it's not obviously in the panel lines because it's pulled away from it a little bit. And when you go through, polishing it up, making sure it's all absolutely perfect. So when you're going through and you're doing your painting work, hopefully you end up with something very, very nice. And again, it's one of those, it's all to do with the prep, going through and making sure it's all nice. We get the engine, comes back up to it. There we go. And it'll have a very, very nice finish. But literally, it's that thing, 90% will be all in your prep work before you put your silver coats on. And when your silver coats go on, it looks very much the part. And then hopefully you end up with something looking very nice. Very, very nice. Just take that. Washes and various things. Again, just all to do with the prep work. No prep work, it'll just look fancy. Oh. Sorry.
Yep.
Okay.
There
Sorry,
you go.
Ted.
Cool.
Sorry, Ted. But yes, excellent demo, Andy. Well done. Cool. Sorry, I
Dennis
muted
has asked if
myself
we
because
can-
of the roofers.
Dennis has asked if we can give a shout out to Editha.
Hey.
Hello.
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 Barry says, after stripping and cleaning his iWater HPCH and pulling back on the trigger, it's now turned into a single action with air and paint coming out together when the trigger is pressed. What have I done? Your needle's not seated correctly in your nozzle. That's all that is. So obviously, when you need to go along, unscrew the collet at the back, take the needle all the way out, push it in gently, couple of quick taps, do it back up, and then try it again, and it should be fine. It's literally because the needle isn't seated correctly in the nozzle and not forming a seal when it's closed.
Ed says, "Well done, Andy. Didn't even use the extractor once, and I never realised afterwards."
He never does. It's very, very bad.
Oops.
Safety violation.
Yeah, it's health and safety, to be honest now.
Chris says, "Well done, Andy. Thank you. I like the model Vallejo metal colour. Do you have any thoughts on how they compare?" Yeah, to be fair, I was going to. These ones, they're acrylics, so they're not quite as fine. They're probably more closer to the Tamiya XF stuff or X stuff than. But yeah, they're probably the best of the acrylics. Yeah, they're spray all
What
right.
do you use them on, Phil? What's here? You used them on something that I think
used those on my Typhoon. The big one, the 24th scale one, I used that. I used it for all around the engine cowlings and the various areas. But also I used it on... what did we do?
because you did the Starfighter in the AKs, and you did some. Was it the MiG-21? Is
Yeah,
that
it is. It's the MiG-21 at yours. Oh, there you go. You can go and get it. But yeah, I did a MiG-21 using the acrylic ranges of those. First time we done an entire model in them. As I say, I did Starfighter. That was in other things.
Just say hello to Editha again because she's now in his room.
Oh, right. Hello, Editha.
Hello.
Like who is it? One of the guys says he likes to use them for Chris.
I apologise.
Yeah, Chris says he likes to use them for hand painting. These are great for hand painting.
There we go. Here's me MiG. Is it dusty?
It's absolutely filthy, to be honest. But yeah, that's the MiG, and actually, it's holding up quite well. But yeah, it's absolutely ditched. I'm just covered in it. But
It's patinaed.
Yeah, it's got patina now.
it's been like it's stood in a Russian museum for the past 40 years or something. But yeah, no, it's still holding up okay. So that's the Vallejo one, isn't it?
Yes.
Because I think you got the Starfighter there. I don't think I've got it. Have I?
I've got the Starfighter here. Hold on.
You've got the Starfighter? No, I ain't got that.
I think one of the biggest problems with these is because they're acrylic, and I mainly use lacquer paints now. Is if I put it straight into this airbrush now, I'd end up gumming the airbrush up and having to strip it down and clean it again.
Oh, can I just? Sorry, mate. Can I just do a bit of a shameless plug?
Yeah.
While we're on the cell, because this is the Trumpy kit, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, that's the Trumpy one.
And we've got these in stock, and they're on
And I
sale.
really rate that kit. It's actually a very, very nice kit.
It's a lot less complicated than the Edard one, isn't it?
Yes, a lot less. Yes.
Because this is so. If you want a quick, easy build rather than getting involved, this is quite a good kit. This MF from Trumpy. So, and obviously, as you can see, Phil's got a video build on it somewhere.
Yes.
So yeah, there you go. Right, carry on. Sorry, Andy, mate. Sorry.
Yeah, I was just saying that because these are acrylic, you sort of end up gumming your airbrush up if you put it straight into your airbrush when you've been using lacquers or enamels. So probably the main reason why I don't use it. But they are very, very nice for hand
They're
brushing.
nice for brush painting, aren't they? They're really good for brush painting.
Yeah.
There you go. Is this a free to watch now, or is it still
No,
paper?
it's still on the pay-per-view, I'm afraid.
Pay-per-view, is it?
Right, that was us. Hold on, there she is.
I tell you what, Andy, I'd have thought you'd have got Sam out of bed to make you a coffee this morning to, you know, keep you going.
I've had 2 this morning, so I'm...
Oh, you're all right, are you? You're... How about you, John? Have you got no waiter service or waitress service today?
Oh, Christ, no. What do you think?
I've got no chance either.
Mine's slacking as well. Right. Cool. Very good.
I did message her twice last night to bring me a beer up, and I went downstairs, had to pop off and go and get a beer, and she was fast asleep on the settee, so...
She's had a busy day at Amazon.
A busy day.
Mm.
Oh,
Angie's knackered because she stayed up till nearly 2 in the morning expecting a result from the American election.
Right.
just to want to show this because it's not quite time yet, but this is Phil's new present.
Yeah, look what I've got.
Look what Phil's got. So yeah, a Defender 90.
That's
It's going to be running it over with his tank.
Well, no, it's the only way I can afford one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yes. Very nice. Very cool.
Is it the same scale as your tank?
I don't know, actually. Is that 16?
1/10 that is.
All right, 1/10.
The RC stuff's 1/10 scale. So yes.
Very, very nice indeed. Where'd you get your acrylic rods? Yeah, you get them online anywhere. eBay do them, Amazon, usual things. What you want to do is just measure your inner diameter of your exhaust of your model and then go from there. You can shim it down a little bit like I usually do, but yeah, very expensive though. That's the trouble. Acrylic rod is so expensive. Yeah, do a demo on how to clean a dirty model. I've done that
I got
before.
my anti-static brush there. It's at home. What's good?
Yeah.
Do it.
That Starfighter, to be honest, is the Hasegawa 148th one. I think I did the Edard Reeboks, wasn't it?
Yeah. Just another plug. If you go into Edard, we've actually got the Japanese version of that in stock.
Ooh.
The Ico. Is it an Ico? Is it? E.
Oh, Edard.
Down. Next to Ebro.
That thing, when you're looking at this thing.
Ebro and fine molds in between.
Oh, God, why the hell?
Up a bit. There it is. You was on it. No, back a bit. There.
Oh, right. So I was looking for the Hasegawa one. I didn't know we had it in there.
No, go down the bottom.
Oh,
There it
right.
is.
That one.
The Ico.
Ico.
I think that's how I pronounce it. But that is the Hasegawa kit.
Right. Nice markings.
They're cool, aren't they? You always get with the Japanese stuff is quite nice and bright. But obviously that version you can probably do other if you can get some aftermarket decals, can't you? You'll be able to do some others with it. So
Yeah.
So yeah, there you go.
Very nice. Very, very nice indeed.
Yes.
Cool. Phil did a recent tutorial vid on cleaning your old dusty models. I did, didn't I? Around somewhere. Cleaning them out, giving them a wash and everything.
Question about fitter colours.
John.
Ewan's doing the Hobby Boss SU17 fitter in the box art scheme and is asking what Hataka colours there are. And it's that green and brown sort of Soviet colours.
I don't know. I don't really use the attackers.
To be honest, I don't actually know if they do that. I know they do the flanker colours and
Isn't that just the standard green and chestnut?
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
They still do versions of it. I just don't know what the numbers are. If I'm perfectly honest with the attacker.
See, tell me if I'm wrong, but is it the same colours as the MiG-29A?
Yes.
Yeah,
That's the chestnut, brown, green, and grey, isn't it?
Yeah, so that
Yeah,
What colours are they,
same
Nate?
colours. It looks the same
they
colour.
call out. Well, Tamiya, they call out X27, XF52, XF96.
So I've got on here dark brown, Africa grey. No, they use grip and grey. They use different colours for the same thing, don't they? But
Yeah, they do cross-reference a bit.
Mr. Hobby, they've got 47, 72, 302.
Yeah, they're saying here that apparently Hataka do a specific SU1722 set.
I'll type it
Yeah,
up.
I wouldn't know. I don't really use the attack. I'm not even sure what MRP would be without having a look myself.
Cool.
I'm just going to type them up on the thing now, the paints that are in this set. Have a look.
You know what? Considering they're only doing a bit of work around the chimney, by the sounds of it, it sounds like we're having a new roof.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're just up there banging to make it sound like I'm getting their money's worth. You know, they're just sat on the roof doing this. It's like, I thought it was just being like a few couple of dude tiles and a bit of flashing, and that was it. But by the sound of it, we're having a new roof.
Oh yeah, there is the SU22 M4 Polish Air Force set. Is that it? No way it's stocking it. At least you can get.
Is it in Polish markings?
That's got NATO. Oh, that's the NATO colours: NATO green, NATO brown, NATO black, and then grey olive.
So
Blue Russian markings.
I reckon the MiG-29A set will be close.
Yeah.
This has got 6 colours in it, this set, which is probably more colours than you need. But
I've just flicked over to my head cam, Phil.
Yeah.
I don't know how well it shows up. Where am I?
Yeah.
Right, this front section I haven't buffed yet with the fingerprint in it. And the rear section I've buffed up, which is this is the metal colour buffable stainless. So you can see when I'm choosing a bit of cloth, to be honest with you. But you can see the more you actually buff it, the shinier it gets. So if I now start on the front section, I did put quite a bit on it just to.
You might want to move your thumb, Andy, because you're going to get covered in it.
I was going to say, he's going to touch anything. He's going to have shiny bits.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, when I actually polish it up, it does look quite nice metal. But like we said before, the problem with it is that unless you overcoat it with a clear coat,
It
just keeps coming off.
Keeps giving.
Yeah, but as soon as you overcoat it with a clear coat, you lose that metal colour with it. So it's like it's a bit sort of two-edged sword really. It's like you're trying to make it look nice, but then sort of like you can't make it look nice until because you have to coat it. So
I've just thought of something, Andy, that you've not demoed for metallics.
So,
Them AK metallics in the tube.
Yeah, the horrible ones.
The ones that explode.
Yeah, the
yeah,
ones that pop.
I've never bought any of them.
You never got none?
No.
Blimey. I think I've got a full set and I don't think I've ever used them.
To be honest, I had to throw a few of mine away, didn't I? Because they exploded on me.
I think not a couple of mine did, and they made a right blooming mess.
Yeah, they do.
One thing I did try was I didn't use the Molotov stuff, but
Oh, Molotov.
So, and it's still coming up on this.
What's that? Or
The Mustang, which is now, this has got to be 10 years old now.
say, are you still on full screen?
And well, we're on Andy at the moment.
Yeah.
But you see, as you polish it, it comes up on the cloth. And if you use a brush to do it, it's nice to keep all that brush for dry brushing metal effects onto things like Phil does. You've got a brush, haven't you, Phil, that you just use for doing
I just always keep that brush. Never clean it, because I always use it for little bits of rub around and stuff.
yeah, keep it in like a sealed poly bag.
If you can literally keep polishing it, you'll go through the paint back to the black.
Yeah.
And I think the closer you get to the black, the shinier it'll look and deeper it look. But sort of
Yeah, you could actually make that look like an iron bar.
Yeah.
You know, it would look literally like a piece of metal. That's the great thing with it. But the drawback is it is messy as hell to use.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, but it does, it does come up nice when it's polished. I don't know how well that shows up.
You can say it's always very doable. We'll take some stills of it if you like, and I'll put them up on the screen.
Yeah, I've taken a few. Yeah, I've taken some photos and I'll put them on the forum. But yeah,
There you go.
that's right.
So, am I allowed to do my announcement now?
Hold on 1 sec. Let me just show them this, and then you can. Only because we were just finishing off this subject. This here was all done with the buffer balls. And I was trying to do a funny thing with the wings to make it look sort of worn and with the sort of putty effects and things. But this model's now like 10 years old. So she's a bit dusty and ancient. We were just trying to do things with it. One of those, I know it's not accurate because it wouldn't have riveting and all the rest of it before everyone jumps on. We all know that Tamiya got it wrong, but yeah, that was how I played with it. Not that happy with it. It never came out exactly how I wanted it. Yeah.
So what would you redo it with now then? If you did that again, what
If
would...
I do it again, I'd do it like I did the B17 now. So obviously we would probably go with the high-speed silver or that X11, Tamiya X11 for the wings. And then for the metal areas, I use extreme metals.
Cool.
Definitely. Right, do you want to do your announcement?
Yes, well, we have been kind of been given these from Gary at Tiger Hobbies, which are samples basically. But one of them which is probably due out next year, we think. Might be back end of this year, but probably good to next year. And it's from Ryefield Models, and it's the version of a Panzer III.
Very nice.
So, like I say, this is just a sample that I'm going to send down to Phil, and you can have a look and a review.
I do like the Panzer IIIs and Panzer IVs. I think they look like proper tanks.
Yeah.
There's something about them that...
So, yeah, I say Gary's kindly given us that, and that also, you've got an aftermarket X set with that.
Very
as
nice.
well.
Cool.
Be out.
Cool.
Hey, look back, look to the back. I was just looking at the back. There you go. 3D printed. And did you reckon?
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah.
Nice. They look good. So yeah, that's due either probably next year. And also, what he's got a sample is that we're getting soon is that. And again, this is another sample, but with a Charlie 2. So the in-service one, and then
Got a Berlin scheme.
Berlin scheme for you, Phil.
Yeah.
Nice collection. The other side of the box.
Very nice.
So these are doing soon on his next shipment, and they also have got some workable tracks.
Tracks with it. Cool. Very nice.
And you get a little jig as well to the back for putting them together.
Very good.
So there we go. So I say that you'll be winging your way down to Phil.
Just a quick question, Matt.
Yes, mate.
What tracks do you get in the kit? We've seen it before where they sell the tracks separate, and it turns out it's the same tracks you get in the kit, isn't it?
That could be. I don't know. I've not looked. I've not looked in the box. They're the tracks you get in the kit. We'll have a look in the box. It could be. It could be for like if you're building. Yeah. You can use them on the Tamiya one.
Yeah. I remember. What did you buy, Phil? That.
Yeah, I bought the one for the Chieftain, was it?
Yeah, it looks like
the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, what it is that Takum did them, didn't they, for the Chieftain? But actually, Takum made them for replacement ones for the Tamiya.
Yes,
that's what it was, and I didn't realise at the time, and thought, oh, workable tracks, we'll have some of that, and it turns out it's the same ones you had in the kit. So, yes.
Yeah, I just wonder if these are designed probably more for the Tamiya kit. Then obviously, if you get them, you don't need another set, but still handy to know. I mean, the retail price is like 18 quid for them, full retail on the tracks, and the Panzer III X sets is £15 full retail. So,
Absolutely.
Very good.
Yeah.
To say, Matt, are you going to be doing a figure painting tutorial? You seem brilliant at it.
Well, I'm going to do a bit of one tomorrow, aren't I? Not
Yes,
Saturday.
Matt is slated from 10 to 11 tomorrow.
So I've just had an actual bit of a thought last night when we came off, because me and Phil are obviously going to do a few live shows during the course of this lockdown, aren't we?
Yes.
So the figure I'm going to start today, I've actually got one here which came yesterday, and I'll show you. Well, this Nathan will be happy with this, Nathan. So we have got an Adolf Galland figure. Okay. So obviously, because we're part of the Luftwaffe SIG, we can do that. So he's going to probably get started tomorrow, and then I've got a couple of figures on the go that I can use, because obviously using oils is a drying time, so you can only do so much before you've got to leave it. But the thought process is while me and Phil are on, I can carry on and do a bit more and put the overhead on and show you like the process as much as I can.
Yes.
If that makes sense.
Tom's asking what the Panzer III kit was. It was the Rifle. Was it Rifle models?
It's a Rifles one, yeah.
Yeah, but it's not out yet. That's a pre-production. That's a pre-production sample.
Yeah, it's due out probably early next year, we think, really. So we could put them up on pre-order if people are interested. We could definitely, Andy will put that up on pre-order, and we'll see. Yeah,
We've got a price for them.
I will have. I can get one. Yeah, I ain't at the minute, but yeah, we have. I can get that pretty quick.
Question for Phil and the team. In November, the newsletter, Edard announced that they will be doing the 3D printed cockpit decals in the future as the new standard. What is your take on it?
Oh, I think somebody's
then
their market, isn't they?
From yes.
Yeah.
It's that Quinta Hobbies thing, isn't it, to keep up with them?
Yeah.
As long as the colours are right, I'll use them.
Who's got some Quinta Studios ones there they can show on camera? Where's yours, Andy? Because you've got yours.
I think they're in my hind kit.
Okay then.
I don't know where it is.
To be honest,
Well,
at the end of the day, I think it's the natural, evolution moving up. We used to have decals, then used to get metal, like photo etch cockpit details, and then obviously it went to colour photo etch details as we were making through. And they're pretty good. Then I think like the what was it, Yoo-hoo, whoever they were, who was that company?
Yeah.
They were like a 3D-ish colour, but it was great because they had really proper colour. Instead of them being like dot printed like the Edard ones were, these were proper printed and they look fantastic. And now obviously we're getting these 3D ones coming through as well, which are almost like 3D printed colour instrument decals. It's good. But at the end of the day, as long as they don't go silly money and cost a fortune with it, it's a nice and easy way to do it. But then you've got that thing, isn't it? Is it taking away from the modeller and his skills if he's just literally plugging in pre-done parts into it?
There's nothing in my hind kit, no rivets or anything. Well, that's a bit of a dig.
Yeah, but you can get aftermarket rivets apparently.
I think they're all right. It's like
Matt,
Yeah.
back to your figure demo. Matt wants to know why you're using oils and not acrylics.
I actually prefer the blendability of the oil. I am using acrylics. My base is going to be acrylics, and then I'm doing oils over the top. And it's literally because I find them easier to blend, especially on skin tones. I just find the effect for me works better than just pure acrylics. I think it'd be hard on 35th scale, if I'm honest, to use the oils. They are, the size of them, but especially if you're doing like a 1/10 night buster, just find them a bit easier to work with. So.
Cool. Phil, will these shows be uploaded to YouTube or in the members area to watch later? Apologies if this was mentioned last night. Yeah, no, they are going to be free amongst everywhere. As far as I know, they'll go up. I've got, obviously the time in between. By the time, to be honest, you've had a pee, something to eat, we'll be back again. So what will probably happen is on Monday, I will then put them into categories and sort them all out and various bits and pieces from it. And again, if there's interesting parts like Andy's bit and the tutorials and demos we're doing over the weekend, I'll clip them out, I'll edit it and take them out and make them a standalone and shove them somewhere. But because, you know, the easiest way to do it, if these are ever streamed live anywhere, they will be freebies forever. I don't then take them back in and hide them and squirrel them away. You know, obviously we do that with the other stuff. So yes, if it's on here, it will be available. So just go to the Glory Models page and you'll be absolutely fine on that one on YouTube.
Sorry, mate, can you put new arrivals up? Please.
I was about to say, I can't find my Quid Studios, but I think, John's, you got some, haven't you?
No.
No? All right,
No.
sorry. I can't find them. They're around somewhere.
So, as you can see, new arrivals, somebody was asking about the Stuka, Italy Stuka. So that's up. I've got to order that in. So I'll pre-warn you that we haven't got that in, but we've put it up so anybody wants, we can get it within a few days. So it'll be in next week. Also, we've got some more of the Armour Hobbies Hurricane, the new one. Next to the Herc.
How was it? Sorry.
Yeah.
There it is.
We've got some more of those in stock because they sold out pretty quick.
Yes.
So they'll be back in. And then, as you can see, there's some new ICM, the Mini Austin Armoured Car, and the Farewell Tonka.
Very nice.
There you go.
Cool.
Yeah.
All good stuff.
Yeah.
Morning, chaps. Just popping in from fitting out the workshop with plasterboard. It's eating knife blades. We know that one.
Yeah.
The bit where they snap
Matt,
up in
have
there.
you
You've
ever
got to dig
thought
them
about
out.
getting figures into the store?
Figures. As in what? As in we've got 35th figures knocking around from Mini Art and Dragon and stuff. Are you on about bigger figures? As in the one night busts and stuff?
Yeah, it doesn't say. I assume so.
I mean, it's something we've got to discuss because it's a bit niche. We can get them in. To be honest, we can get certain manufacturers like Young Miniatures and Life Miniatures and stuff. We've got a supplier of that. The Mitchers ones. To be honest, this one I've got here, I've bought straight from Mitchers Military Models for the Galland bust, which they're their own company. They like, you know, they just sell for themselves. I think I don't know if anybody else stocks them, but if there's enough demand, then yeah, we'll get them in. It's just, you know, obviously where we invest the pennies, isn't it, Phil?
Yes, it is. So I'm
That's
just making sure what fell off the roof on the cameras.
Oh, right, okay.
So there was a hell of a
Not
bang.
one
I
of
was
the
make sure it's not a body or something. All right. Seems to be fine. Nothing to worry about.
Just going off subject, going back to the plasterboard. If you just cut the paper on the good side, then snap it, and then cut the paper on the back side, you're not wasting your knife blades because you're not cutting through the plaster, you're just scoring the paper.
Oh, see.
How do you know that? Cause what?
Because when he was a drywall fitter.
It's one of the things you pick up from working in the trade, isn't it?
I suppose it is, yeah. You've seen it. You've seen enough plasterboard in your life, haven't you?
Oh God, yeah.
What do we got? Best source for pilot figures.
Oh, Quick Boost do one up.
Yeah.
Quick
They
Boost
do
do all the
like-
nice seated ones. They're the ones I use. They do all the series because I used them for the MiG-21. I used them on the MiG-23. I've used them in the Phantoms. And Tomcats and various things like that for those ones.
Which one was the
PJ
one we've got?
Productions.
PJ Productions is another. Which one you had where he was like Frankenstein's monster? Whose figure was that?
God, that was some. I bought a
Was it
cheap Russian company's pilot, MiG pilot, wasn't it? And he was awful.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I've still got him. What I did with him.
We've
All
got
like
to still have him.
completely wonky limbs and stuff.
He
That
did. He
was-
had arms literally down to his ankles.
I was going to say there were no way it's going to fit in a MiG-23 cockpit.
No, I don't know what I did with him now. He's gone. But yeah, the Ares ones are really nice. Quick Boost ones for seated pilots.
Yeah.
But somebody released some modern ones the other week, didn't they? Didn't they do Typhoon pilots?
Yes.
And modern ones with the helmet-mounted sight.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I can't remember who that was. That was only a couple of weeks ago I saw those.
I like these. I think these are good. They look a bit sort of sketchy. The box art doesn't do it any justice, really.
No.
But they've got a really good range that cover a lot of different aircraft.
Yes.
Well, good for your like modern fast jet and RAF sort of stuff.
In chat, they're talking about the group builds again. Is it worth going through the group builds for the people that weren't with us last night? So they can see them again?
Yeah. Yeah, why not?
Yeah. Do you want me to pull up the thing again, or don't?
Do you want to go for it, Nate? Hold on. Just fine.
Hang
We'll
on,
go full screen when Nate's ready then.
Give me 2 seconds to get the thing ready.
I missed it all as well last night because I was
Not listening.
Oh no, I was putting your stuff up.
I know.
Andy wasn't applying himself. That's what's on his school reports.
I was.
Andy would learn so much more if he wasn't looking out the window.
I was
distracted.
I was correcting somebody's mistakes.
I'll do it straight off forum this time, I think.
Yeah, apparently those new ones, JP Productions in Belgium released them.
Yeah.
2 seconds, just logging back in.
Who did the fantastic World War One figures? Somebody does the really nice resin World War One figures for like obviously what was with the wings kit.
I've seen those on sale at Asiatic.
I know Thingy do some, don't they? Do Tommy's War do some like? I know they do a lot of obviously army figures and stuff, but I'm sure they do some flying figures as well.
There's that one that everybody uses with wing up wings, where there's a chap stood there with his great big coat on and the scarf.
Yeah.
You know, it's quite good for figures is Tsukimura. They do some really nice ones.
Yeah, actually, Tsukimori do, and so somebody we know stocks or who's going to be stocking the full ranges of them.
Right, let me just share my screen. You ready?
Yeah.
Mark says Tommy's War ?
Yeah, Tommy's War. That's the one. Yeah.
How's that look?
You just need to get rid of Andy and Matt on your little screen. That's it.
Is that all right?
You
know what they're like.
We like the limelight, don't we, Andy?
That's it.
I'll give a sort of. There's a little bit of an introduction for the members to read, so I'll give like a brief rundown. So the first group build is the Swinging 60s. Dead simple one. Anything that was operated in the 1960s. So I've had a few questions. You can do stuff from the 50s that was still in service, as long as the markings are from the 60s. So it's anything military or civil. So you could do your Apollo space missions. You can do there's just anything and everything really. Like for instance, you could do a Concorde prototype because that first flew in the 1960s. So there's just it's a really open group build, isn't it? There's a couple of Middle Eastern and Vietnam wars that get captured by this decade as well. So that's our first group build for the first half of the year. And that is then followed by Out of Africa. And this is basically the aim of this group build is to build anything from any African nation. Not foreign stuff in Africa. So the Africa Corps, for instance, isn't included. Black Hawk helicopters from Black Hawk Down aren't included. We're looking for African subjects. It does include sort of colonial era Africa like Rhodesia. You don't have to do just Zimbabwe, you could do Rhodesia as well. But there's literally tons and tons and tons of stuff to go on. There's loads of decals out there for African subjects. So there's no shortage of stuff to do. So that's going to be a second half of the year. And then running alongside the two group builds, we have what we call special interest group builds, which are a little bit less formal. No medals for these. The first one is a maritime one, so that's the high seas, although we do include rivers and lakes and inland waterways if you like. So you could also do stuff like an RAF Sunderland, just anything that's exclusively sort of maritime environment really. So if you're a fan of Navy subjects, you've got loads to go at, and we are accepting sort of marine equipment as well. Just so anything that's under the command of the Navy, or in the case of an Air Force, seaplanes be an obvious subject as well. So that runs up till the 30th of April, so the first sort of third of the year. That is followed slightly earlier to coincide with Anzac Day. We've got a Australia and New Zealand SIG. So this is anything from 1914 onwards from Australia and New Zealand. And that does include the Aussies and New Zealanders that served with other forces. Obviously, a lot of them served with the RAF. So you can do one of those as well. Just make sure it is an Australian or New Zealander that was flying that Spitfire. Okay, and the last SIG is the Comrade Buller SIG. Now this one is for Soviets. So not just Russians. You can do your Belarusians, your Ukrainians, etc. But it's for Soviets using Soviet equipment from the Soviet era, which we're taking as the October Revolution of 1917, right up to the last time the hammer and sickle flag was lowered on the 31st of December 1991. Okay, so that again, you've got plenty to go at, military and civil, but not Lend-Lease, not Soviets flying in North Korea. Basically stuff with a red star on it, and you can't really go wrong with that one. General rules for all of the group builds and SIGs are there. Again, this all gets posted up closer to the time. And if you want to save your printer ink, there's a nice little printable page at the back, which again gives a summary of the group builds and SIGs for the year. And that is our group build schedule. I'll stop sharing screen.
Very good. Excellent. Thank you very much, mate. Very good.
Can everyone tell that Nathan's a teacher?
Yes.
Can I just say that last picture with John in the middle? Brilliant.
Yeah, fantastic.
It's just great. Isn't it?
We have got another picture of John here, been sent in to us by a viewer. So remember, if you've got any photos you want to send us, you can send us to... hold on.
I have done a page on the forum, Phil.
All right.
In questions for the questions area for the team, Phil or team, for people to put Telford pictures in.
There we go.
That was when he was doing that thing for Lydia, the zero on it.
That's it. There he is.
Yeah, fix thing.
It took him 2 days to do that.
Look who's behind. Hey, look who's behind it.
There's Isla in the
Yeah,
background.
it's
Isla,
Isla.
look.
Yeah.
Oh yes, it is.
In her camo trousers.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yes, thank you very much for the picture. Keep them coming. If you've got any pictures, either say we got. Is anyone posted in it yet, Andy?
No.
All right. Okay. So if anybody's got any interesting pictures or things like that, and they want to post them up, please feel free to bung them up. Or if not, if you've got anybody you want to show them on air or anything else like that, pictures past and present from Telford, just send them to sales@florymodels.co.uk, and I'll show them.
Right.
Can I just quickly mention that somebody's messaged me postage costs.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes, due to the weight, when you actually put them into the basket, the postage works out more expensive. For example, he's being charged £12 for his postage, and it is close by. If postage is incorrect, Matt will refund any difference on postage.
Yeah. It's just how the weight system works.
Sometimes.
Yeah. When I go through it, I adjust it as accordingly and get you a refund for the difference. So, yeah. I've also got some other information.
Yeah.
The price of will be for the Panzer III in the UK will be $39.99. That's a recommended RRP for the Rifles kit.
Yeah.
And Andy's frozen. And also, supplementary figures. They work out about £10 to £12 per 1/32 figures. So yeah, between 10 and 12 quid for the figures from Zucchimori, which are resin figures. So, and that's the other thing. And somebody was asking about, obviously, when they go to checkout, that's when the discount happens. You've got to go to thingy. So the prices are on there. If you go to check it out, because this is been asked about one of the pig model shells. When you go to pay for it, then your discount will kick in, won't it?
Yeah, it's an automatic system. You don't have to put in like a promo code. It automatically does it for you. So when you get to checkout, it will then sort it all out from that side of it.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And it works out the difference because, say, some of it's 10%, some of it's 12%, some of it's 15% off. And obviously with the specials, it works it all out for you. So that's the nice thing. Because we can't work it out.
No. Literally, just go and pay for the items and then the discount will kick in for the kits, whatever you're buying. So, yeah, cool.
Yes, they're saying all on here that John belongs in The Hague. With the photo of him at the end. I think we all looked to have T-shirts done. With that special T-shirt, the Comrade Buller Sig.
We're all going to have their masks of just John.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, we have masks on.
Have you got one of those big woolly hats, John?
I bet he
I'd
has.
have to get one, would I, for the SIG?
Yes.
I'm not sure you want to walk around in company of Trotsky and Stalin for too much time.
I don't know. Just another Saturday night out for him.
I've put the on the keep. I've put the one of Andy that I photoshopped about a year ago.
Oh right, I'll have a look at that in a minute. Just an update. Now these all dried off. You can see this is that bit at the beginning of the show when we overcoated to show about overcoating. So it was like that, and then we just overcoated. So you say you can, if you find it's too strong and you want to knock it back a bit, just overcoat it with another colour, and then that way it ends up literally just like that. So just a quick. An easy way. You don't have to wash it off and start again if you don't like it. Just overcoat it. And obviously, if you gave it a coat of, say, black, it will knock it down again. It won't totally make it that colour because it will just leach into itself a little bit. But if you want to, you could do it there. And then the other thing is, I was just going to show, here we go. You can, if you want to, sand it away. So you can come up with some real weird and wacky weathering things. So you just sand it. So you can sand the wash. So it's still beautifully smooth and everything else, but you can actually go in and sand it back for a more sort of worn look to it. Or, again, you can just wipe it away afterwards. So you can have it as... That woodpecker's getting on my nerves now.
I'm going to say they're making a good job of that, aren't they?
I'll tell you what, I'm expecting a new roof. There we go.
Oh, yeah.
And as it dries, it will darken as well. That's it. Nicely done. If you find your wash doesn't come off for whatever reason, another trick is take an old worn sponge like this. Okay, so because this is worn down, this is great, and then you just lightly rub over the top, just lightly. And what it is, you'll take the raised areas off, so it means that the cloth and the moisture can get into the areas. Okay, so if we just show you this for a sort of advanced weathering on this, as you can see, you can give it a really worn, mottly look by sanding it because it's in the texture, and you go around. But same thing again, you wet the cloth, just go amongst it. Cloth might help. You can just go back with a clean cloth and wipe it all off. And you can grab areas, so you grab some dirt and you can put it into areas and take away, subtract, and you name it and do it. Totally whichever way you want to go. I haven't even been in this one. So here we go. Nice grey one. Again, you come in, just lightly sand in. We keep up with some different types of weathering. Different weathered effects. Or wipe away and wipe it. Sorry, kid. The demo bits are definitely getting old. Cool.
Is that still the javelin?
Yes, it is. Yes. It's javelin wings, javelin fuselage. So yeah, it would be. I need to build a javelin. We'll put it back together. I've still got all the parts for it. But as I say, many years ago, I needed a demo bit quick, so we ended up with this. I've got another bit in here somewhere. And we've still got this one from back in the day, which is circa, God, this was the original Trumpeter 30-second Typhoon, which for some other reason, they riveted the wings.
Oh.
So, yes. Oh, look, there it is. There's the other bit. I have the other bit.
So not a good kit then, eh?
Well, it's all right if you want to do the prototype. But yes, there you go, a javelin. Aren't they worth a lot of money? But they're available now again, aren't they?
Yeah, they were fetching silly money, but now obviously now it's been released, they're back to normal prices.
Yes.
It'll probably be the Sea Vixen that's fetching still strong money because that's not come back out, has it? So
yeah, unfortunately, I haven't got one of them. But yes, it's quite funny going through the demo box. Got me a little demo box. This is the same one that's been going to Telford for absolute years, and it's got the military super glue in it. We've got a knife in it. We've got brushes, the price cards and various things. All the sanders we do for the demos. So yes,
yeah.
Less. It's funny because I went through the box this morning, and obviously it's got all the fluorescent jackets. Thought we should have worn last night.
Yeah.
You know, the high vis jackets. So yes, cool. Right, what do we got? Question: I'm doing the Lysander in the black scheme. What colour should I use for modelling the base so it will show through on the black? To be honest, Alex, I don't do it that way at all when I'm working with black. I post shade blues and greens and hues into it, and then I will polish the surface, which is something I'm going to show you tomorrow's show. Actually, I was planning on showing you polishing black and things in there. You guys, how do you do your blacks?
Not black, basically.
Not black,
Not black.
Yeah, not black.
Anything but not black.
I'd use NATO black and then go in with a bit hues of blues and things. And
I normally use I like bluey blacks rather than grey blacks because you go to that hue, don't you?
yeah,
You've got the
rub blacks a bit.
Well, yeah, you've got the browny black, the blues or the greys, and it depends which tone you want to go in. But I always find the blue tends to look, especially on aircraft, if you're doing black, just tends to give a better hue for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things as well. It's just you want to. I haven't got any decent photos of that. Got that one sort of in there. I tend to go through the motions of sort of distressing it. So we sort of, you can see in that photo, polished it in some areas, flatten it in others. So that way, when you catch it in the light, it's giving you different results. And to be honest, I think that had the grime wash on it. Under here, you can see the grime wash around it as well, just to help break it up. So it's in the panel lines a bit, but it's that thing about breaking it up so it doesn't look like a brick. So whichever way you do it, so you can use like different colours, like blacks and blues, as you say, and all those types of things. But I think as well, having some flat areas, so you sand it so it's more flat, and then obviously polish it in other areas so it is definitely more on the shiny side. I don't know which ones it was now. The Halifax. We were down under here. What else have I done with the black bum or bottom?
The black bottom.
And a flat bottom, flat black bottom. Can't remember which ones it was now.
Halifax, you did. You got that one. Sorry,
yeah,
mate.
Halifax there.
Sorry, I was looking at my other monitor.
Yeah. You can see, and that had like light washes, and you're just going in there with blues and the various things. What else have we done black? We've done something black recently, didn't we?
What about the F-117?
Yeah, well, that, to be honest, I probably wouldn't do it that type of way now. That was a long time ago.
Oh, no,
but...
that's half blast, isn't it? It's all right. I was looking at the F-35, but that's half blast.
Yeah.
You've done any armour? What about the book system?
Yeah, well, that was done with the greens and everything, wasn't it?
Yeah.
HE111, didn't you, in black?
HE111.
The big one.
Yeah.
Where is it? I'm trying to find it. There it is. A very youthful looking me.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't grey underneath that. Yeah, no, it's grey. It was grey. Did it in grey. That was a monster.
That was a big kit.
That is huge. Yeah, very, very big. Crikey. Spraying on the wash, because it took so much to do, I decided to spray the wash on with that one. So you just airbrush it. I think the other one's on there. We're going to do the other one's on there.
Hey, go down a minute.
Hmm.
Go down slow. Hold on. Stop. There you go, next to the Tornado, the F-117.
Yeah, but I don't think I've got any of the photos. Oh, yeah, we have.
There you are.
There we go.
That was NATO black, wasn't it?
There was NATO black on that one, yeah. The last one. That's one of the first kits I actually built. This one was one of the first ones I did here in the studio. We've literally only been in here about 3 or 4 weeks when I did this one.
Can I just say as well, we've got them on special offer in the special bit for sale.
I have to say, it's a big kit, not small. It's a lump and a half.
That's one of our special orders in from Japan because it's not available over here in the UK. So if you want some inspiration, there's Phil's.
£37.99.
Cheap as chips.
It is.
Talking of that, I could eat chips for my dinner. I could eat a chip shop dinner.
Chip shop dinner.
I really could today.
That's it, everyone leg it out to the chippy.
Yeah. Are they like still open, chippies?
I don't know, are
Yep. Takeaway.
Yeah, takeaways. Yeah.
Click and collect.
On the wrong one. There we go. What else we got? How about post shading the black part of it themselves? Paints. Airfix Javelin was a great kit. I've never built it. I've ruined it, but I've never built it. Phil, any more ship or boat builds planned? Apart from the Iwo Jima, I don't think you've done any. I've done them all, but just not on film. Yeah, that was before. The trouble is, spoke about it before. Ships take up so much time. That's the problem to it. They're not quick builds. The Iwo Jima took forever, purely because of all the different levels and the decks and everything else. My hat goes off to you. But I have done all the Tamiya series of 350 scale ships in the past.
Yeah,
when we do our look back at previous kits, I'll get them all out. So I've got a great photo with all of them lined up. Are the chip shops open in Doncaster? We will find out at 2 o'clock when we come back.
I don't know. I've got no idea if they are or they're not. To be honest, if it's click, I won't be getting any for my luncheon. But I just had that urge, when you just think, I just fancy some. But yeah, no, I'll be going home for a sandwich. Because I'm in the shed this afternoon. I'm relocating back home because obviously I've got no studio or anything here at the minute. So if you want to see me do this demo on the burnishing fluid and how to use full tracks or how to do full tracks, I'll be back home.
Yes. So plan of action for this afternoon. We'll be back with you at 2 o'clock. And then Andy's going to continue with chipping. I'm going to do some stuff with buffing. I know you've seen Andy's done buffables, but I'll show you different things to do with buffables. And then Matt's going to do burnishing with you this afternoon. So basically it'll be between 2 and 3 chipping, between 3 and 4 it'll be buffables with me. And between 4 and 5 it'll be with Matt doing burnishing. Tonight at 7:30 we've got quiz night. So grab yourself a pint or a favourite tipple, and if you'd like to join us for that one. And then tomorrow we've got between 9 and 10, I'm going to be doing sanding and polishing, showing you about blacks as well, so you'll see all about that. And then Matt will be with you with oil paints, as we were talking about earlier, doing figure painting and stuff. 11 o'clock, obviously we've got the remembrance thing, so we're going to be doing our bit for that as well, to make our way through. And there, and then in the afternoon I'm going to do a thing Sunday afternoon between 2 and 3. I'll do a thing about with pigments with you, and then it's a free-for-all literally after that until 5 o'clock. And then that'll be a case of get your bargains now, because the sales on all sites end at 5 o'clock.
I was still demoing oil paints then.
Yeah, Matt will still be
I
modulating.
could set my overhead on and just carry on, and then you'll just have to watch. And I think that might be the quickest way of doing it, to be honest, because it's very long-winded.
Yes. How does Matt fancy his fish and chips? Cooked, I would have thought.
Oh yeah, without vinegar as well.
Yeah, he doesn't do vinegar. One thing we can learn about Matt is that he doesn't do vinegar in any shape or form. If you want to get rid of him, you don't need holy water. Just flick vinegar at him.
I
always
literally,
that they can use micro set and salt because that smells of vinegar, doesn't it?
Yeah,
I hate it.
that's why he
I
doesn't
really
use
don't-
it.
Yeah, I don't like it at all. And yeah, I just literally move away because Leslie likes a lot of vinegar on her. But I'm not. No, I'm in a different room. I just can't stand it. Luckily, my daughter has followed suit with me. She don't like it either. Thankfully. So yeah, that and brown sauce are the most. Bleh.
That's got vinegar.
What about
That's got
pickle?
vinegar in it, isn't it?
Branston pickle?
Oh no, it's vinegar in it. Oh, vinegar's vile, disgusting.
So if you ever want to make, Matt, you heard him somewhere, you just get pickle and flick it on the ground. You can't cross it because he'll burst into flames. He'll melt.
Like kryptonite.
They say in chat you got to have salt and vinegar with chips.
No, just salt, no vinegar.
No, you've got to have your vinegar.
It's-
It breaks down the
actually-
fat.
It's only malt vinegar I don't like. The other vinegars I can cope with, like
What about
balsamic.
nice cider vinegar?
Well, that's more for cooking. You're not going to chuck that on your chips,
Oh,
are
I
you?
don't know.
Phil, John, do you put cider vinegar on your chips?
Oh God, no. Good old sauce and smoked vinegar.
Disgusting.
We should be sponsored by food.
Yes, sponsored by Pucker Pies.
Yes. So everyone wants fish and chips now. Mouth
See?
watering. That's it. It's all
See?
about nice fish and chips. Everyone would be like, ah. Could I get down to the chippy and back in time?
Hey, I'm surprised you're not asking Tams.
Yeah,
Tams.
that's it. Can you pop to the chippy?
Literally, hey, sorry for forget. John's got the advantage. He can literally walk across the road to
Yes.
get some.
John's
Literally.
even got his own zebra crossing to go to the chippy.
To the chip shop, yeah.
Traffic stops for
So
him.
the
to
traffic
walk-
has to stop as he steps out of his door. He's got literally a zebra crossing and a chip shop.
It's like Moses parting the sea. The chip shop.
I'll tell you what, chips with salad cream. That's another nice one.
Mayo. I don't
No.
mind chips with mayo.
Chips with mayo, but chips with salad cream as well. That's nice.
Yeah, I don't mind that. I can cope with that. I can cope with mayo.
Okay, Nigel says, I've just read a comment on a video that the US Air Force used mops to paint camo on the aircraft in the 60s and 70s. What do you guys think to that?
Mops.
I've
As in
seen
what
them put
form?
invasion stripes on with mops. I've got photos of that.
I
But
can
not
imagine
camo.
them, say in Vietnam when they was like trying to patch things up, but I can't imagine as a general rule of thumb that they use mops.
Not in the 60s and 70s, I wouldn't have thought.
We must have some ex-US Air Force personnel on.
Yeah, you think we've got lots of them.
So
So
they must know. Go on.
they managed to spray them in the 40s, so
Well, yeah.
yeah.
It may have been not been funny if it was a panel when they replaced a panel when they just wanted to paint it and use anything you like, isn't it? But
Yeah.
I don't know. But I've seen one of my books I've got has got reference photos, and I think it's a B-25, an RAF one, and there's a guy on the top with a mop, literally putting the invasion stripes down it, and he's got literally a bucket of white paint and a mop, and that's how he's putting the invasion stripes on.
Unless it's like a battle damage panel where they put a
Yeah,
patch
that's it. Perhaps they've just replaced that panel and stick a new one in and just paint it.
Christopher Riddle says the Air Force spends tons of money on their paint. Well, they do when it's $10,000 a litre or whatever they charge themselves.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that DuPont's not cheap.
So they can spend the other $999 on other stuff.
I'd have to see pictures of that to see what. One of those urban myths. It must be battle damage repair in Vietnam.
Yeah, it must have been.
Patching up and stuff. I mean, what?
Again, I think it's that thing, isn't it? In the field, you do what you do, what you need
What
to do, isn't it?
do.
What gets it done.
Mark says he was having steak with black butter, with black garlic butter for tea tonight. And I think he changed his mind to having fish and chips.
Takes 0 persuasion for Ange to have fish and chip tea tonight.
I was going to say, chat's gone suddenly quiet, so everyone's
dead.
to the chip.
That's
now,
it.
haven't they?
Everyone's seen Uber Eats.
Yeah.
Say yes on the.
Rob Husky says his missus has mayo with a curry sauce.
You can have mayo.
Hey,
with
you haven't
anything
had curry
from-
sauce till you've had it from down here, because ours is like literally brightest red you've ever seen for curry sauce. It's positively nuclear.
Where I live, they do salt and pepper chips. They are so nice.
We have paprika chips here.
Oh, see, that's because you're posh.
Yeah, but yeah, paprika chips is a big thing in Donny.
There's a
Steve-
chip shop near
Steve,
me.
I remember fish and chip vans back in the 60s. Does anyone do a kit? I suppose you could convert a crepe van, couldn't you?
I was about to say we've got crepe vans on sale. You convert them for pommes frites in it in
Yeah,
French.
yeah,
Some pommes frites van.
absolutely. Yeah, Pomfitch fans.
There's a chip shop near me that do curry sauce, and once a week they do it with chicken. It's like literally like a chicken curry. That's gorgeous when it's on your chips.
Ooh,
Really, really nice.
There we go. We're all salivating.
that's it now. Everyone just wants to go to dinner
Why are we
now, don't
talking
they?
about chippy dinners right before lunch? I'm absolutely starving.
That's it. I haven't even had any breakfast yet. It's like,
I'm
not-
starving here.
I end up having a cheese sandwich or something.
yeah, we're all talking about it's lovely stuff. And what am I going to get? A cheese roll.
Cheese on toast if you're lucky.
Yeah, that's it.
Absolutely Hank Marvin here. I'm just stop.
Have you not had breakfast even, eh?
I had a banana.
Tonight I'm having
Fish
pizza.
and chip. Fish and chips.
Pizza that's not going to come until my wife comes home, and we'll be live on things, so you'll all be able to watch me eating pizza while we're doing the quiz with my beer.
With this beer.
But because as how many's in the chat room now? They all gone because they've gone for the
It's all
chips.
gone quiet.
Yeah, I must admit, the current count of viewers is dropping rapidly because everyone's thinking, stop it, we'll go off for dinner. Anyway.
How do you like your pizza, Andy? I like Hawaiian cheese, ham and pineapple and cheese, but I'm the only one in the house that likes that. So it's
Pineapple.
normally
Pineapples just wrong.
it's nice. It's normally pepperoni or so like a meat feast or something.
Yeah. Isla loves pepperoni pizza, and I like the American hot. Bit of chili on it.
It'll be from Pizza Hut.
Domino's.
Other
Some
pizza
don't-
outlets are
some-
available.
Yes.
Yeah, Sam doesn't like Domino's for some reason. I prefer Domino's, but
It's so expensive here, though.
What you having, John?
We're having fish finger sandwiches tonight
Oh, nice.
Nice. Yeah, that's all right. I can go with that.
with wedges, I think.
Do you know what? I was very healthy
Wedges.
last night. We had jacket potato with salad. Just saying.
Mark says try sprinkling Worcestershire sauce on cheese before toasting.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
I
that's
like
standard
Worcestershire
here. That's absolutely do that. Yeah.
Bit of chopped onions underneath.
Also, with your baked beans, you're doing beans on toast. Good
Yeah.
dollop of Worcester sauce in it. Mix it into it, and then chuck it on with cheese.
So we've turned from Telford weekend to Saturday morning kitchen.
I'm going to eat book in a minute.
It's probably about the right at this time of day. We're probably thinking about what we're going to get for
I am cooking
Oh.
tips for Flory models.
who's going to
That's
pop to Asda and get some.
Don't get many of them in the
some
UK
pubs
Texas
things,
restaurant.
there you go. Paul saying it's 10:55 in Sydney at the moment, so no fish and chips there.
No, it's better not.
Bless. Right, so we should have a quick run round because obviously Seamus plugged just before we go.
Yeah.
Right, don't let them leave. Lock the door.
Yeah.
Okay, so hold on. I've got so many tabs open for some reason. I've lost where we are. Okay, so don't forget, The sale is on. The sale will end at 5 o'clock tomorrow night. Okay, so this is your offers in there. So it's up to 20% off of certain kits in the specials areas down in here. That's down in these ones all in here. Okay, when they are gone, like some of them have sold out now, they have gone. That is it. There is no more. Okay, and then obviously we're doing 10% on everything else kits. So that's everything. Okay, but there's 12% discount on Fujami, Hobby Boss, Meng, Mini Art, Rifle Models, and Trumpeter. Okay, there's 15% on Nunu, and we're not talking about the Blue Hoover thing from Teletubbies.
No.
So anyway, so that's lots of things down in there. But again, you got the new arrivals. Obviously, everything counts down in here. We were just talking about earlier. So those are all in there as well. So if you want to grab anything, but as I said, when they are gone, they are gone. Okay. Obviously, the sale for all your Flory Models gears we're talking about today with obviously your washes, the sander packs. The sander packs are selling out. So when that 32 gone, that is it. Okay, so we've still got 133 of the actual starter sets. That's fine now. Unfortunately, I got a limited amount in, but they've gone already, I see. But there should be more restocks of those coming in next week of the big buffers. But everything else, as you can see, is on sale as well. And then obviously we got down in here the wash sets that we were talking about before. Obviously, they are £10 off as well. There's £1 off of your washes, and there's £1 off your pigments, and obviously the deal on the set as well. Instead of being £35, it's £28 for your pigment sets. But again, once that lot is all gone, it is gone. Okay, so yeah, you might want to wait too long because how things have been going, it's been going very, very well on there. Okay.
But obviously, the offer's only on till 5 o'clock tomorrow night, isn't it?
Yeah, so 5 o'clock tomorrow night it will end, and that will be it, and then we'll go back up to the price.
So the buffers, when they come in, will be at the original price. So don't hang on for them till.
Yeah. Yes.
Don't hang on for everything else until they come in. Otherwise, you'll miss that deal.
Yes. Yes. Grab it all whilst you can. Right. Okay then, guys. Well, if we are done for today, we can all go off and eat. Seeing as like that's thrown it in. It's normally alcohol or food. That's pretty standard for us. So hopefully you've enjoyed part 1. Here we are Saturday. So we're going to have a break for a couple of hours. We'll be back with you at 2 o'clock. I can see if I've got a roof on the house because it sounds like I haven't. I don't. They're up there cutting wood now. I thought it was just lead and tiles, but there you go. So I'm going to find out to see exactly what's wrong with the roof and stuff, and then we'll be back with you at 2 o'clock. And as I say, we're going to be doing chipping, buffering, burnishing, CBB. That's it for this afternoon. So we'll be going through them. Again, feel free, chat up, ask questions, send us photos as well so we can show you photos as well. Send them over to sales@florymodels.co.uk. Email them to me and I'll show them live on air as we go our way through. Right, lovely job. Cool. Well, if we're all done, gentlemen, anything else to say?
No.
John must be needing a pee, or has he got the pipe? Got a watering can between his legs. So yes. Okie dokie. Right, we are off then, guys. We will see you in a couple of hours' time. Take care, stay safe, stay distanced and sanitized, and eat lots of chips, apparently.
Eat chips.
Eat chips.
Cheers,
Bye.
guys. See you later.
Bye.